Hey, hey.
My head. Uh,
Oh, dude, animation style, they've been lit. 100%. Go enjoy it. It's a good show. Yeah, first episode just came out.
I'd say a lot of stuff just dropped this week. Don Machi, ReZero, whole bunch of stuff.
hello, Prophet. You sneaking.
By the way, we're live.
I was here before you, Steve. Yes. Yes.
Good morning,
Discord
Flat.
has logs.
I said, let's check the logs.
Oh, we're just talking WoW, and I had nothing to input. Oh, yeah. I was just listening to y'all talk about WoW.
Hey, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good
You know, listening's a good skill to have, alright? Just say.
Did it already finish? Gotta bust out the full song one day. No.
Maybe.
Is the song made by fucking Ano? Fuck! No.
Katsune Miku?
Yeah, it's instantly demonetized on YouTube now.
Rama 1.5's opening song is sang by a mid-tier singer, in my opinion. And I'm sad about that. Because I'm finally getting all the openings for this season.
They're still working on Halo Infinite?
Thank God.
Which you already go third person for the grab hammer a lot of times, so.
I'll grab your hammer.
I'm gonna.
Keep it in your pants.
I'm gonna put another song request. I don't know what you're talking about.
Friendly reminder that song request is live.
Bye.
Hey.
Hello, everyone. How's it going, guys? Here, let me... Ow! pin that. There we go. Yeah. Okay, chat, I just got the tweet out. Go give it some love. We grab today's sauce. Colin Straylock SSR ticket. I haven't even looked at it myself. I like Trump's gave me the TLDR this morning while he was still live, and I was like kind of crawling out of bed, but I haven't actually like looked at the stuff in detail yet. But we are going to go over it today. Grab that. All right. One more thing. Always one more thing. Does indeed 30 million? Yeah. Okay. Think we are good to go. Here is today's artwork, guys. Enjoy. Whoosh. Okay. So, yeah, we ended up getting the 30 million download campaign, and it's a doozy. There's quite a bit here. As you guys can see, just for reference, the daily quests in the Chaldea Gate are 13 AP right now for the max rank. They're 2/3 off instead of half off. So it's kind of a nice thing. Just for that alone, this is a pretty big deal. Actually, I need to find the actual news post for it, because y'all keep not posting the proper news post in FGO News. To which I'm sorry, but I am going to delete these. And I will ask you guys, please don't post machine translated stuff into FGO News, just because it's not really worth, right? Like, I don't want there to be any confusion if something gets translated wrong. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I don't mind it to the degree of like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read off the freaking machine translated news post, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I'd rather we not be responsible for it. No, not that. Thank you, Mr. Trubs. Yeah, I was literally trying to navigate it myself. Let me double check here on NA and make sure I'm not capped out, but I shouldn't be. I did a pretty good job with my AP today, even to the point that I was a little bit ahead of schedule, so. Here is Zalinko. But how's everybody doing? Congratulations, y'all made it to Friday. Anyone knows the 30 million campaign includes the summoning for NA? What do you mean, Okayest? Like, what do you mean about the summoning for NA? And sure enough, of course, I'm capped out. So we did all the Road to 7 stuff, but I do still technically have that in there to do, but I think I'll ignore that for right this second as we focus instead on just getting AP spent real fast here. One of the fastest ways to make sure. And actually, yeah, I'm already 3 out of 3, so instead of touching Oku, let's go literally make a Blapple here. So let me double check, make sure I've purchased my stuff out of the Mana Prism shop. Whoop. Easy purchases. Okay, that should be everything there. Those are my rare prisms. Fuck it. Okay, I'm really far ahead on my rare prisms. I might start buying gold foes again, but we'll see. We shall see. All right, so that should have me good on that server for right this second. All right, so let's talk about the 30 mil here. Oh wait, hold on. Is this the right one? No, sorry, this is the right one. Blip. This was the announcement of it. Yeet us into Americanese here. Hello, Robo. How's it going? Rested and now feel better again? Good. Glad you're feeling better. Sometimes you just got to re-roll. Okay, so basically, yeah, we got the 30 million downloads campaign announced as kind of anticipated, right? Like, we had talked about the fact that it seemed like Famitsu had kind of leaked the info via Sensor Tower. So, like, the cat was out of the bag. The devs couldn't really hide it any longer. And honestly, I don't even think they were at this point. I think they knew that info was going to come out during Famitsu, and they were just like, yeah, whatever. Right? Like who cares? Because they were already planning to probably do this. So, and the reason that I say this, guys, because, like, usually their schedule is made far in advance. We kind of know that. And there may be some wiggle room or some last minute changes that occur, but I think it was always intended to go, thank you for opening Bing instead of just literally giving me the program that I typed in there. So basically we knew that, what was the word that I was going for here? We knew that they were going to do the 30 million because it, like, the way that I think it was always set up to be was it was always intended to be like anniversary into summer, into OC3, into the DL campaign. Okay. And I think that's the way it was always intended to be. Then we're going to end up getting our new event here, and that just is what it is, right? Like I said, I thought we were going to get some sort of tease for the new event. They didn't. I'm going to give them a little bit of shit for that. The fact that we have had, like, quite literally like 2 months right here from this alone of, like, hey, we kind of know everything is predicted. And there has kind of just been this sort of like floating on through type of mentality of like, all right, well, I got it all done. I'm just going to sit here and I'm not even going to play because I'm just going to make blue apples because I got everything from summer and everything from Ordeal Call done. So I'm really surprised that they just kind of, with, you know, less than 24 hours announcement, managed to go, oh, okay, you know, now we're going to end up just announcing the 30 million campaign. And then they basically give us the stream for the 30 million and they don't announce what's next after it. I don't know. That just seems weird to me. I understand maybe they don't want to tip their hand, but, like, we're going to find out in a week anyways. So, like, I don't really understand. And the reason why I'm going to give them a little bit of shit is because, again, this was very little notice for this. So now it's looking like they're not going to give a whole lot of notice for the new event either. And I hate to say it, but this smells like something to me. when they do this sort of thing, it's usually because they don't want you to know the style of the event that's coming up. This screams lotto. I don't think they're going to do a lotto here, but this is how they normally act when there is a lotto coming. And like, that'd be really fucking odd to me if they turned Halloween into a lotto. But yeah, normally that's what they try to do. They try to go all hush hush. They don't tell you when it's coming, but it is what it is, right? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me for why they're acting the way that they are at the moment. Because to me, I would be more wanting to say, hey, yeah, we got the 30 million download campaign. Also now, look at this upcoming thing that we have, because the only mention of the upcoming event that we have is basically the requirement for it to include, the fact that it will include a requirement for LB5. So like, yeah, I don't know, right? Like, it just seems kind of odd to me that they've done it this way, but it is what it is. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't anticipate it to be a lotto. I think basically lotto could be expected to be like late November or early December type deal, as it normally has been. But yeah, it's just kind of odd to me that they basically kind of let the ball drop so much for a lot of this time here, let people basically take a vacation from the game. They kind of get everyone's attention to the 30 million and they don't cash in on that to set up the future. So that was odd to me that they did it that way. But it is what it is. Again, like we said, we did anticipate it to be 30 million. They just didn't tease what was coming next. We did call that it was going to have an SSR ticket. I told you guys before, the dev statements on this was that this is supposed to be bigger than the 20 million downloads campaign. And the 20 million downloads campaign is arguably the biggest downloads campaign we ever had. It was the game's first SSR ticket. So if you're going to go bigger than that, it stands to reason that's going to include another SSR ticket. And sure enough, that's kind of what we're doing here. So just reading through, you guys can see there is a whole buttload of crap basically in this campaign, to the fact that they actually end up like hyperlinking all of this. So let's go through it bit by bit and we'll kind of talk about it. To begin with here, you guys can see basically you're going to have limited time missions to clear the singularities there. And essentially you're going to end up getting one of 41 eligible SSR servants. So this is going to be your ticket. I'm trying to remember what the original one had for the 20 million campaign. I could probably find that real fast. Let me just double check. Okay. Just pulling this up right here. Oh, you have it side by side. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I was just going to look at it on fandom here just for reference. So again, it was basically all of your permanent ones minus Dio Scurry and Odysseus, I want to say, were the two permanent units that were not included in this for weird reasons. But yeah, so definitely like looking at it, let's see, you got 3, 6, 9, 13, 18, 20, 23, so 25 different units. So you had 25 different units on the original one, you have 41 here. So definitely a lot better, a lot more options for you. Let's see, it'll be, so when you first get them, they're in the provisional joining state. You can make it official by meeting the conditions during the period. This is how it was in the prior ones. It's usually just, hey, you have to like level up the servant and bond them to a certain extent. So let's see what they say. Basically, so your exchange period for the commemorative ticket is October 6th, so Sunday basically for us, to November 15th. So you guys still got a ton of time. Masters who have cleared the first singularity, blah, 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 blah. So you basically have to have cleared all of Orleans. So it's not just It's not just Fiyuki this time around. And that's fine. I don't think that's that difficult to say. However, I will say this is kind of a dumb thing for them to do conditionally because it's incentivizing people to rush Orleans' story. And I'm going to say this. Orleans is a story that needs to be read because it is arguably better written than the two singularities that come after it. So to me, Orleans ends up usually being a fairly big hook for the game to keep people playing deeper into the game. But we'll see how that is, right? Like, I assume at the same time, like, you're not just going to get a shit ton of people to suddenly come into the game and start playing, so this probably won't be that big of an impact in that regard. Formal enrollment grace period. So basically, I believe this is if you have like picked them, this is how long you have to actually fulfill the conditions. And here are your conditions. So fulfill all the following conditions. Strengthen the exchange to SSR to 60 and achieve bond level 5 or higher with the exchanged SSR. Okay, so that's not bad. Getting 60 on a actually, you know, this doesn't say it, but this may not even require you to get them through the second ascension, because getting them to 60 can literally be done by virtue of ascending them once. And that's it. Like, you wouldn't have to ascend even a second time if that's the case. So here's your servant exchange schedule. This is just showing October, November there, and just kind of the timing of it. So it's like, I think this is the duration of the ticket. This is the duration of the pick. And this is the duration of fulfilling the conditions to make it permanent, right? So basically, you have a little bit longer to actually pick the servant. Once you've gotten the ticket, you have a little bit longer to make them permanent. Click here for special page. Okay, me click special page. Oh God, that is special page. I gotta find a better breakdown than that. Okay, so notes regarding the exchange servants. Please note that if the servant you exchanged for the 30 million downloads campaign does not officially join by 23:59 on Saturday, November 30th, they will leave the party. In other words, they will auto-delete themselves from your Chaldea. Don't be that person, chat. I have seen that happen to people with the original ticket. Don't let that happen to you. Exchange servants cannot be selected as materials for servant enhancement and servant noble phantasm enhancement, or subject to spirit origin conversion sale while in the provisional joining state. In other words, you can't burn them and you can't feed them to another servant if they're provisional still. Even if you already have the same servant, you will need to meet the conditions for official joining in order for the exchange servant to officially join your party. What does this mean? This means that if you say were to pick, let's say, Nito Altar, even though you already had Nito Altar, if your Nito Altar is already at 90 and Bond 5, you're fine. But if your Nito Altar, when you picked them, was at like level 50 and like Bond 1, and you picked a second Nito Altar, you will still have to get this to level 60 and Bond 5 in order to make them permanent. So in other words, if you haven't leveled them up prior, you're still beholden to the existing conditions for that to be the thing. And actually, I don't even think you'll be allowed to combine the copies until it is made to be non-provisional. So you can't even like feed it for an extra NP copy. If you have the same servant, the bond level will be the same as the servant you already have. Yep, that is a thing. Bond levels carry over regardless of which version of a servant you have. So, like, if you have, like, a rash and then a second rash and then a third rash, they all have the same bond level. The servant coins of the exchange servant can be obtained when you officially join. That's a weird way of saying it. Thank you, Google Translate. But yeah, so again, same deal here. Once they're out of the provisional status and they actually are permanent in your account, then you'll get coins. So not before that point. Please note that the condition for obtaining an anonymous spirit origin, obtaining a total of 6 or more of the same, only counts if they are obtained through Saint Court summoning. So basically, if you try to pick NP6 with this ticket to get a USO, it will not give you one. So you cannot get a USO from this. And that's, to be fair, that's not new. That is the way the original ticket was as well. Okay. Ticket notice, please note that you will not be able to receive the 30 million downloads commemorative ticket after the event period has ended. So again, that's going to be a problem. Keep in mind, I think the condition for receiving it was completing Orleans, so there's that. Please note that the 30 million downloads celebration mission volume 2 event and the 30 million download celebration ticket exchange period are different. They're just telling you about the different timings of that. After the exchange, the servant will be sent to your gift box, and the 30 million downloads commemorative ticket will disappear. Please note that if you have not exchanged it, the 30 million downloads commemorative ticket will disappear when the exchange period ends. So same thing, you can it's use it or lose it. And here are your servants eligible for exchange. So we have Altera, Artoria, Dioscuri, who is considered new because even though they should have been on the prior ticket, they were not, which was a problem. And Mordred. For your archers, you have Arjuna, Orion, Napoleon, and Tesla. Tesla's definitely a good addition. Again, he is story locked. So as you can see, we have story locked units added potentially to this ticket. The interesting part about this is the 20 million downloads campaign didn't have it, but someone correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the second SSR ticket the one that we got from when was it? Was that NE6? I think it was NE6 was where we had it. We had a second one, and that one did have story locks. Let me just double check here real fast. All I know. Okay, so where are we? Summoning campaign, lucky bag. Watch you go. Was it not 86? Am I misremembering, chat? Where was it? Special summon, yes. Okay, so here you go. So you did have Tesla, you did have Lartoria. So like the one that came at NE6 did include story locks. So this is technically not the first time that we have included story locks. However, this is by definition bigger than the 20 million, right? Because the 20 million only had perms. So the fact that they're adding them in here, it's kind of duplicitous to say new, but they are technically new as long as you're comparing it to 20 million. But yeah, so again, you've got him there. You've got Tame Tomo, who's new. He's a permanent there. You've got Lartoria, definitely nice to have her in there. Vitra is also new. She's also permanent. So really, definitely getting some nice additions to this. Same thing, Odysseus, as we mentioned, he got kind of shafted on the 20 million campaign. He's in here as a permanent. Kets is now choosable. God, they really need to buff Kets. Mabe as well is in here. Taigong Wang is new. Nemo is new. And Drake is obviously still here. No new casters. How convenient. And still, the hilarious part about this is you literally have your boy Kong Ming and Tamamo in here, and they are still going to be some of the better choices for a lot of new players. And the reason for that is going to again just be the fact that they are just meta supports. That's just naturally going to be strong. Also, a quick shout out here to Taigong, because he's also a decent pickup for that same reason. Assassin, looks like we got Kashin Koji added in here because she is also permanent. Li Shuin gets added in as a story lock. That's definitely nice. Vlad Galatea is new here, so you at least have the option of picking her up. That may be an interesting choice for me because I don't have Galatea on either server at the moment. Ku Alter is in here. God, that's disgusting because now you just have a choosable backline cockroach there for you. So really, really nice. Again, he's story locked. then kind of looking through here, it looks like your extra classes, you still get some leeway, but not a whole lot. So we had basically, and I suspect this may have been where they came to it, is they were probably trying to do some of the extra classes. And they realized that like they didn't have a whole lot to do. So for Ruler, you get Janu, and then Avenger, we have Nito Alter, who's pickable. Alter Ego, you have Seatonai, who is story locked herself, and then Janako for Moon Cancer. So definitely a nice, interesting addition there. Hello, Angora. Second SSR also had the same old selection, but had story locked on top. Yeah. The new table indicates servants that have been added, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, added as exchange targets from the 20 million downloads campaign. So this tells you that that's what they were trying to hyper fixate on, was like, look, it's better than the 20 million downloads campaign. You know what? Good for them. I'm at least going to say that, like, they clearly paid attention to the fact that they let that cat out of the bag last year. So at least they are, like, trying to do right by us and trying to make sure that they themselves don't step in it, because they said this campaign needed to be bigger. Well, if it wasn't going to be bigger, obviously everyone was going to roast them for it. So I'm glad that they kind of pointed this out. Okay, clear the conditions to obtain one of the SSR servants. Story summon servants can be exchanged regardless of whether or not you have completed the main story. That's fantastic. Obviously, if you haven't completed the story, though, you're probably not going to have the materials for them. But thankfully, we have systems like Pure Prisms that really help for that. For servants whose true names are hidden, the servants, or the names of the servant and some of their double phantasms will change depending on progress of the story. In the campaign, the true names of servants whose true names have been concealed are listed. Oh, that's what? That's so stupid. So basically, they're like, hey, yeah, it's going to be hidden from you in game, except for in the selection screen. To which I'm like, then what the fuck is the point? But I get it. That's just kind of how the system works in game. It's just kind of funny that they didn't bother to obey the same standard with regards to the selection ticket. Yeah, and then they're literally telling you how they'll change here, which is kind of funny. Okay. Yeah, so you guys can see these are all your new additions to the list. So if you're somebody that's been around for both the other tickets, this is likely to be where your bread is buttered, but don't get me wrong, you still may like want and or need somebody from up here in this top part, and that's perfectly okay. You don't get to feel bad about that. Some of you may just want additional MP levels. That's also not a bad thing, so I think it's perfectly fine. Felt like they overhyped it. No, I mean, we literally talked about this yesterday, Strom. If you felt like they overhyped it when all they said was that it's going to be bigger than the 20 million downloads campaign, that's on you and your expectations. Like I said, like, they didn't say much of anything about this. They just said that they weren't ready to like do it yet. That's the only other comment that they had made on 30 million. So I think we ourselves overhype it, and we can't blame the devs for that. Scarlett, thank you for the 45. Appreciate it. And Arch, thank you for the 32. I'm sorry I didn't say anything. But thank you guys. Appreciate it. Check, we get some love for them. On the exchange string, the following will be displayed depending on your possession, the servant own. Okay, so they're going to show you now, basically, as you guys can see here, right? Like, kind of in the same way that they do it for like the Destiny order summon, they're going to show you who you already have, as well as like the number of servants. So basically you'll be able to see essentially like how many times you've gotten them, and basically what their max noble phantasm level is, and the amount of servant coins owned. That's actually nice too. I like that they'll show you all of that like right out of the get-go, and you can kind of see it. It's a little bit difficult because it's kind of super small on my screen here, but basically you guys can see the little details down there. So okay, so even if you've already summoned the servant, if you have converted aka sold the servant, it'll be displayed as not owned. Okay, that's good. So it'll just basically, if you don't actually have a copy, regardless of how it happened, it'll tell you you don't own it. Okay, so then next up here, if the number of reposts of clear the conditions to get one of your choice SSR servants post on the official Twitter account reaches 100,000, I'm going to guess impressions, during the event period below, all masters of the game will receive 30 Saint Courts. There we go. So that's definitely nice. They don't normally give us a full entire summon. I'm certainly happy to see that because that's kind of an issue sometimes for me. I think it's stupid of these games to nickel and dime you and only give you like very scant rewards for like interacting with social media. Obviously the players take it and that's the problem with it. But yeah, at the end of the day, they need to kind of start upping these rewards because they really haven't upped them very much in the past couple of years here. Let's see. All masters are eligible, blah, 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 blah. As long as you've completed Fuyuki. Actually, you don't even have to have completed it. You just need Chapter 3 Progress 1 by October 13th. And if we don't reach the target number of reposts, we won't get it. Damn. Holding a special login bonus. Okay, so this is kind of as anticipated. If you log in 10 times, counting once per day during the period below, you will receive the biggest luxurious login rewards ever, including 3 rare prisms, 3 legendary crystals. Wait, what are the legendary crystals? I gotta think about this. Is that oh god, the fucking skill item. Lores, thank you, yeah. So basically, 3 rare prisms, 3 lores, 30 golden fruit, 30 silver fruit, 3 4-star foes of each type, 30 HP foes, 30 attack foes for your 4-star, or sorry, 3-star variant. 30 wisdom flames. Wisdom flames. I'm just trying to think of what that is. Embers. Okay, there you go. Yeah. 300 mana prisms and 30 million QP. It's definitely not bad. Oh, yeah, there you go. I could have just literally looked down here and it would have showed me the legendary crystal. Special bonus has been added to the Start Dash campaign for a limited time, so this would be a good time to start on JP. Total number of Saint Courts that can be obtained by logging in a total of 14 times will be increased by 30. Wow. So 255 Saint Courts and 45 summon tickets, enough for 143 different summons. 42 golden fruit, 300 wait. Okay, blazing wisdom, that's gotta be ember. So 300 4-star embers, 4.2 million QP, 30,000 FP. That's definitely not a bad yield, all things considered. So you guys can see there is your rewards. We're logging in all 14 days. For masters that have not logged in for a certain period of time, aka a returner bonus, a comeback login bonus, you'll receive 30 Saint Courts if you do so. It looks like you get a bunch of other stuff as well, including the FP and the embers and the apples. Okay, so this is now pure prisms. Starting at 2000 here on Friday, October 4th, aka today, we will double the amount of pure prisms that can be obtained as a reward for clearing the main quest, aka clearing story. You get double pure prisms now. So they're increasing the rate. Now, I talked with Trubs about this. This is probably my biggest nitpick of this campaign, but I'll talk about it once we get through all of this. Okay? So you guys literally just doubled the amount of pure prisms you got. if you've done all the story. Which is kind of funny because, yeah, it doesn't look like it ever expires. This is just a permanent change. Nice. Blah, 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 blah. They just end up kind of saying exactly what it is. Yeah, it looks like it'll be sent to your gift box. And now here's one of the bigger changes. Okay, so introducing a new item, the Pure Prism Exchange Stock Reset Ticket, which allows you to reset your stock for exchange Pure Prisms at the DaVinci Studio. If the remaining number of times you can exchange a given item in the Pure Prisms is 0, you can use this item to reset the remaining number of times you can exchange one of the target items. It can be obtained as a reward for completing the 30 million downloads commemorative mission Volume 1 part of this campaign, and is also planned to be available in future campaigns. I told you, Trumps! we were talking about this earlier today, and I was like, I'm willing to bet this is going to be something that they trot out in other campaigns in the future. And I hadn't read this, but yeah, that seems to be the case. They seemingly are indicating that, like, yes, you can get these here and now in a limited quantity, but sometime in the future, right? Because I believe we were talking about this. Earning these tickets, the window that you have to earn them expires. Kind of like teapots. So in that regard, if you haven't earned it, you won't get them by the time that expires. But I'm like, okay, well, why do you have an expiration? Because if you basically don't like do it, then you're not going to get it. But then it expires, and then they're going to offer it again. So it expires sometime in November. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say I won't be at all surprised to watch them trot these out again at New Year's. It makes sense, right? Like, so I won't be surprised to see something like that happen, but we'll see. Okay, so notes regarding the exchange stock ticket reset. Each exchangeable item can only be reset once. So in other words, okay, that I didn't know. I was talking with Trubs, so I guess you can't use multiple tickets on the same item. So you can't just sit there and keep resetting like the meteor shards, for instance. It's just not going to be a thing. This can be used when the remaining number of exchanges is only 0 times. If it is 1 time or more, it can't be reset. This item has no expiration date. So again, the ticket itself doesn't expire, but your window to earn the ticket does. So you won't get it if you haven't done the requirements. Now let's talk about the requirements here. Okay. We'll be adding 30 million downloads commemorative mission volume 1 to the master missions, limited time. If you clear the added mission, you can get a new item, Pure Prism Exchange Stock Reset Ticket. So the event period is from October 4th to Saturday, November 30th. So if by November 30th you have not fulfilled the conditions, you will not be able to earn these Pure Prism Reset tickets. So basically the receipt period is October 4th, aka today, all the way through December 7th, which is... Huh? I guess they give you an extra week to actually pull it out of the missions. That's kind of weird. The mission will go away, but if you've already done it, you can still pull it out. So again, basically each one of these is going to give you a ticket. So advance the main quest's progress by 10 arrows, we'll call it 10 points, up to part 1, part 2, and song 2, which is Ordeal Call 2. Okay. Advance the main quest progress by 20 points and advance it by 30 points. So what does this mean? You have to move forward 30 pips in the story, aka 30 arrows in the story, in order to get all 3 of these. It does not matter where in the story you are. You can be in, Arc 1. You can be in Arc 2, aka Lost Belt. You can be... No, Epic of Remnant doesn't count for this. That's actually really funny. So Epic of Remnant's the only part that doesn't count, basically. It's Arc 1, Arc 2, and Ordeal Call all count, but not Epic of Remnant, which, again, it's not required, so that's why they're just trying to force you to actually get, like, main story done. Is this retroactive? Yes. If you are already up to date on the story, you're good. You get it anyways. If you are not completely done with the story, I believe you still have to do it. So, let's see. Please note this is a separate mission from the regular weekly missions that are updated every Monday at midnight. You'll not be able to receive the rewards after the period has passed. If you complete the 30 million downloads commemorative mission volume 1 mission, it will not count towards your regular weekly mission progress. So, again, it's just saying it's a different mission. If you've already cleared main quests up to Ordeal Call 2, the mission will be completed automatically. Please note that main quest part 2 chapter 5.5 part 2 chapter 6.5 subspecies singularities 1 through 4 and main interludes are not included. So again, 5.5, 6.5, and Epic of Remnant and any main interlude don't count. You must actually advance the main story. That's what they're telling you. If you have done it up to Ordeal Call 2, you will have it automatically completed. If you haven't, get doing your story. That is why they're doing this. And that is incredibly smart of them. I don't blame them at all for that. So again, your rules here are you're going to get 3 of these. You can literally reset any item, but only reset it once. And the takeaway that I have from this is that this is going to be interesting. So you guys have asked me before. We've talked about this before. Would they ever allow you guys to reset the pure prism shop? Chat, what did I tell you? Does anyone remember? You thought no. Correct. Yeah, I thought no. I thought they would never do it. Does anyone remember why I thought they would never do it? Like, can anyone remember my reasoning? It's farm, yeah. Basically, the more exchanges they would give you, the less you need to actually play the game. And that is my nitpick. It's a pretty obvious nitpick given my past stance. The fact that they are actually giving you guys the ability to reset these and get even more of them is kind of funny, because I've talked with you guys about this before. Now, it's not going to completely replace farming. Don't get me wrong, right? They're doing this in at least as smart of a way as they can. Here's how. They are limiting it. You only can get 3 right now, which means only 3 different resources can be reset for another 100. Okay? Simultaneously, you have certain resources that I'm going to say are higher value from the Pure Prism shop. That is to say, because there's only 100 of each resource in the Pure Prism shop, gold materials are worth way more. Bronze materials are worth way less. Why? Because, like, for instance, let's take one of the original bronze mats, like bones, right? Like, you need like 8,000 bones to be done with like functionally everything in the game, and I'm sure that number's gone up since the last time I looked at it. So getting 100 bones, not that big of a deal. Compared to your gold mat, like meteor shards, you might need like 500 meteor shards total. So getting 100 meteor shards is huge. That's a insane dent. Now imagine instead it's 200. Cat, like, that's enough that you probably don't need to farm meteor shards. Like, you will just get them from events and stuff. So this is my nitpick with this, because we all know this won't stop here. They're going to keep giving out these tickets. And because they keep giving out these tickets, they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're making it so that players just have to do main story and they just don't really have to farm. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I can't remember the last time I farmed free quests on JP. Like, actually. Like, allow me to explain what happens to my AP when we are not in an event. So if we are in an event or we are in story, my AP goes here. If we are not, then it becomes a triage. Triage number 1. Have I done my storm pods for the day? If not, that's next on the list. So there goes a lot of AP to that. Have I done any and all campaigns? If not, my AP goes to that. And if I have, where does my AP go, chat? Does it go to free quests? No, it goes right here. Blue apples. Basically, if there's no campaign, if there's no storm pods available, and there's no event or story active, I make blue apples. I don't even farm free quests. Why? Well, to understand this, let's break it down real quick for you guys. I'm somebody that's been playing JP for, let me think here, since year 3. So 6 years. Okay. I have been playing JP for 6 years. My JP account is certainly not future-proofed, but it is what I would call RFA. It is reasonably far ahead. That is to say, I am not deficient in any given thing. Most of my units are worked on. In fact, all of my units are leveled up, and nearly all of them are FO'd. So, at that point, everything in my account is reasonably far ahead. Everything that I am currently sitting on, while I don't have a lot of it, is enough to tide me over should an immediate need occur. And I'm not likely to have an immediate need, given the status of my account. So why then don't I take my free AP and go farm a free quest? Well, because there are numerous sources of materials. Source number 1. Events. Okay, I am very likely to just get the materials that I need from an event. Source number 2. Storm pods. Let's be honest, the storm pod nodes are crazy efficient, and while not every single resource is there, eventually they are going to be, I feel like. We have more and more nodes coming out over time, and each one kind of ends up addressing a material that I'm deficient in. For instance, the recent one that came out for Dragon Reverse Scales. Dragon Reverse Scales have been a pain in my JP account's ass since day 1. They have never been solid. The most Dragon Reverse Scales I ever had on my account at any given moment was 120 prior to that node coming out. And they pretty quickly got spent down anytime I had a significant portion of them. And now they're a dead mat. Why? Because Storm Pods came out with a node for it. Okay. So then what is the next source of materials that I'm going to go to, chat? Do I go to free quests next? Yep. You go to pure prisms next. So you only go to free quests if all of these fail. If you cannot get the resource from these 3 items, that's when you go free quest farm. So, to understand that now, when they start increasing the availability of resources from pure prisms because they doubled the number of pure prisms, and then they also end up giving you a ticket to renew the exchange, I ain't farming anymore, chat. They just killed farming for me. Yeah, I did forget monthly tickets. Thank you. So, like, that is my nitpick. This is a really stupid move that's going to bite them in the ass long term. I understand it's what the players wanted. It's totally dumb of them to give it to us. Like, I'm happy. I don't have to farm anymore. Because, like I said, yes, there's limits to it, but chat, what are the odds that I exceed those limits? Now, let's be real here, too. What if you're not at this point? What if you're not reasonably far ahead? What if you're somebody that's just starting out? The triage is still the same. It's still events, storm pods, and pure prism. What if I don't have storm pods? Then it's events and pure prisms. Then it's free quests. Like, that's the issue we're running into at this point. So it's kind of wacky. They are just literally cutting down on their own game's longevity and replayability. So, like, yeah, again, when farming is 95% of the game and you're killing farming, oh boy. So that is my nitpick. It's not going to be some overnight change. It's not going to be suddenly everybody's done farming and nobody has to do anything. You only get 3 of these tickets. So you're literally only getting 300 more for right now. The thing is, we know they're going to be doing this over time with more campaigns. So at what point does 300 become 600? At what point does 600 become 1200? At what point does 1200 become, I don't know, 4800 or some crap, right? Like, are they going to keep giving us tickets regularly? I don't know. Will it be like Storm Pods where the second an exchange period expires, here comes another set? I don't know. I will say, I think what they're doing is they're leveraging players' desire to get materials as collateral as part of a deal for please do story. We are so desperate for you to do story that we will give you materials if you just freaking do it. That's what I think is going on here. They so desperately want you guys to finish. Now, that could mean multiple things. That could mean the beginning of the end, if we want to think about this from a doomer perspective. Or that could mean we really want you guys caught up so that you experience the ending to Arc 2 so that we can move on to Arc 3. I'm going to choose to believe the latter more than the former. But yeah, the former is a possibility. So it is what it is. Okay? I'm going to say at the end of the day, I don't think they should have done this. But this will be an actual effective tool for getting people to do the story. And I think a little bit too, the incentive is there that once you've done 30 pips of the story, why don't you just keep going? Because let's be real here, chat. Why aren't you caught up on the story? Like, if you are caught up, you don't have this issue. But if you're not caught up, there's probably 2 reasons. One is time. Like, you don't physically have the time to do the story, to sit there and read it all. Or 2, you are stuck. And what better motivator for either of these to complete the story than giving materials? And that's the truth of the matter. I think the only other better motivator than materials is locking quality of life behind story completion. And we do have that in some cases, like grail casting, for instance. But, like, yeah, I think they realize this, that they need to get people unstuck, and that this is one of the best incentives that they can do. Free or lazy? I mean, yeah, if you're lazy, that's just on you, right? Hello, Ivy. Happy streaming, Lurk. Thank you. Appreciate it. And can one of my mods get Miss Ivy a shout out? But I hope you guys were enjoying, what is it called again? Metaphor? Just give the newbies monuments for doing story and have them sit on the Ember node. Well, so about that, Burning, you're going to see here in a second. But yeah, like, it is an interesting thing. I'm happy that they did this from a player perspective, but this is terrible from a developer perspective. This absolutely, like, there's times in development methodology, chat. So as we would like to call this is dev think, okay? Dev think works like this. You must listen to your players, but that does not mean that you actually have to act. Okay? So listen, but that does not mean you actually need to act. You need to understand what your players want and why. But the reason that you don't act on it, the reason that you don't give the players exactly what they want is because if you give the players exactly what they want, your players will never do anything. Right? Think about that. What do players want? I don't know. Players want all the SSRs in the game. Should you give them all the SSRs in the game? Well, that goes contrary to your desire to make money with your product. So, no, you shouldn't, right? Like, similarly, it's like, oh, the players don't want to have to sit through all of that story, maybe. Should you let them skip it? No, it kind of ruins the experience for them. Maybe facilitating their ease of moving through the story helps. Making things easier for them is okay, but you should not get rid of it, right? So there are certain times that you need to listen to your player base but not act on it. And then simultaneously, you need to, regardless of what the players are saying, come up with a strategy that actually is going to keep your players playing. Okay? That strat really matters. Having to get people to catch up with the story, yeah. There is a skip button, there is, and you can rewatch cutscenes like in the my room. So that's always a thing. Nobody likes to do that, and I think I know why. It's because if you skip it, what's the odds that you go back and read it? So I kind of get it, right? But like, yeah, so it's one of those deals where, like I said, it's great for us as the players to have these tickets. It's terrible for the devs to give these out, but the devs probably feel like they have a gun to their head at this point. They can't seemingly get players to actually get off their ass and do the story. This is the best thing they can come up with. So if we get overflow of tickets, if they're extremely limited, I don't think it'll be as bad. Well, okay, so let me see if they actually have a list here at some point. I don't see it. Do I have a list of everything in the Pure Prism shop? I could show it. It's probably easier. God damn it. JP made me relog. The vast majority of Twitter tend to maul about various nitpicks. Oh yeah, I mean, like, look, we're several people in chat that are saying that this campaign's a big nothing and that they should have done more with it. I disagree with that take. I think if you think that about this campaign where you literally get a free SSR and numerous other things, and you're not happy with this, your expectations are just ridiculous. That's my stance on that. But I understand, right? Like, I understand that there's still things that the players desire. Like, for instance, I think it was Torak that was saying, like, he would have preferred more quality of life from this. I agree with that. I think a lot of us would like quality of life, and it feels like the game's gone a long time without certain things, and there's certain things that we are expecting at this point that really need love. And I don't know if there's a disconnect between the devs and us, and they haven't managed to figure it out or not. Okay, so let's see. So 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. There are 55 different materials in the Pure Prism shop, and that's not including statues and monuments as well as skill gems, okay? There are 55. If you include all the extra stuff, there's way more, right? But if we throw these out under a fairly reasonable expectation that players should have some, I think the statues and monuments are probably the biggest argument. For instance, you can see I can clearly buy some of them with my Pure Prisms, right? But if we stick to just the 55 materials, and we already have 3 of these tickets, then you are sitting at 3 out of 55. And this number, this numerator, will keep going up. We will keep getting more tickets over time. Now, thankfully, they did set a restriction. So if I were to buy all of these golden urn bullshit things, right? I'm going to get them. And then I can exchange a ticket to reset it to be able to get more. However, if I were to buy all of the next set, I can't exchange another ticket for this item. You can only exchange a ticket on one item once. So you have a maximum of 200 that you can get from the shop from any given item. So that is a smart limitation that they set here. You cannot get more than 200, right? That will limit you. That will put a cap, so to speak, on this. Because let's say years down the line, we actually end up at 55 out of 55. You could have gotten 200 of every single one of these materials out of the shop. What do you guys think is going to happen at that point? More, please? Yeah, you're going to stick your hand out there and ask for more? Gonna be done farming mats now? Kick W? I mean, maybe, right? At that point, they'll increase it by 1 more. I agree. So, this is a slippery slope they're on. I know slippery slope's a fallacy, but not with these devs. I don't even think you'll need to get to this point, chat. I think, like, oh heck, probably somewhere around like 30 to 40 ticket mark, they'll go, you know what? Why don't we increase it more? And I don't think that's that crazy to say, right? Like, I think that's just going to be how it's going to be in that regard. Okay, so back to this. Anyways, that's enough about the Pure Prism tickets. That was my nitpick of this entire campaign. And you guys can see why, right? Like, obviously, there's concerns that the devs are hurting the longevity, the replayability of the game. Which, it's a live service game. It's meant to be played daily, so if you're hurting that, it's not a good thing. But it is what it is, right? Like, as a player, I'm certainly happy to get more resources and to not have to farm as much. Okay, so let's see. Continuing on, basically, this is the Volume 2 limited missions. So by clearing the missions, you get 30 million downloads campaign ticket, the command code 4-star Fairy King's Crown, 30 Saint Courts, and more. So quite literally, this is going to be how you guys get the ticket, so pay attention, right? Your event period for this is through November 1st, and the receipt period is through November 8th. You get 30 million downloads commemorative ticket. The command code for the Fairy Crown, 30 Saint Courts, looks like basically 1 copy each of the 4-star foes. Oh my god, 20 more 3-star foes. I'm going to be done foeing my units on JP finally. Let's go. I'm already like, I'm down to, I think, like the last 3 units of each class for my normal foes. So we are getting very close for me. 30 more embers, 10 million QP. Okay, so in order to get the download tickets, Complete the first Singularity Chapter 1. So literally complete Orleans, right? That's going to be how you unlock it, the ticket. So if you guys are new, if you're just starting out on JP, you will not get the ticket until you complete Fuyuki and Orleans. Okay, so just in case somebody gets confused about that. Looks like there's literally a mission to use it to exchange, and that's going to get you more stuff there. Organize your team with the 5-star servant that you've exchanged and clear any quest once, any quest 3 times, any quest 5 times, any quest 7 times. What the hell? Any quest 10 times. I guess this is incentivizing you to bond them, but yeah, it is what it is. So you have to clear 10 quests with the unit. It doesn't look like they have to be in the front line, so that's perfectly fine. You can throw them in the back line if you want. Get them to level 50 or above. And then it looks like get them to level 60, and that's what allows them to officially join. And then it looks like there's even more missions for 70, 80, and 90. So at least they're kind of incentivizing you to take them all the way and not just stop there. It's just you're not required to just to make them permanent. Let's see. So final ascension of the servant that you traded. All right, so that's just going to get you more courts. Raise one of the skills to level 2, level 3. Raise the bond level to level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5 there. And that's the other condition for them officially joining. And then use the NP of the exchange servant once. Oh, no, twice and 3 times. So you do have to have them in the front line at least a couple of times. Talk to the servant once in your room. God damn, they're going all out with this. And then if you complete all of them, you get the additional 15 courts. Okay, let's see. It'll only be counted with the quest is cleared. Okay, so if you fail the quest, you can't just go in and exit the node. You have to actually complete the quest with them in the party. If you already possess the exchange servant and have already completed some of the missions will be completed at the start of the game. Only servants you possess will be counted. Missions will not be completed with support servants, etc. That's interesting. I wonder if the take them to a node 10 times and use their NP 3 times will auto-complete. Like, for instance, if I were to exchange for Lartoria, would it auto-complete that because I've done, like, so much with her, right? Please note the event period and the receipt period are different. Please note that these separate missions from the weekly missions that are updated every Monday at midnight, and that you will not be able to receive the rewards after the period has passed. Even if you complete the mission, it will not count towards your regular weekly missions. Depending on your progress in the main quest, you may not be able to complete the 30 million downloads mission volume 2. So again, they're saying if you haven't completed Orleans, you're not going to be able to. If you have already cleared the applicable main quest, the mission will be completed automatically. Sweet. All right, for the limited time, the following items will be added to the Da Vinci Workshop Mana Prism Exchange. These items will be added for a limited time, separate from the normal exchange for Mana Prisms that are updated every month. So don't forget to exchange them during the period. Basically, you get a double batch. So again, same thing here. If you guys... clearing... Okay, so clearing Ordeal Call Prologue, basically... although that... Yeah, okay, sorry, it looks like a 2 there, but it's literally just wrapping. So yeah, clearing the prologue basically adds a faux pause to the Mana Prism shop. Obviously, your openers there, your summoning tickets, your 5-star and 4-star embers, your 4-star and 3-star foes are all there. For a limited time, the following items will be added to the Da Vinci Studios Exchange Rare Prism. These items will be added for a limited time in addition to the monthly updated Rare Prisms items, so don't forget to exchange them during the period. So, aka, you're literally going to get a second batch of these. So we have faux pas as well. We end up having the command code removers, which at the current time are still absolutely defunct. Which is interesting. It's 9 times now. Wasn't the limit 3 times, chat, on these? I feel like, but I don't know. And it looks like they tripled everything here. Yeah, so because again, you have 3 exchanges for your 4-star foes, and then 15 times instead of 5 times on your FP. Starting at Friday, October 4th, the new teapot will be added to the Da Vinci Workshop Mana Prism Exchange lineup. Yes, you heard that right, chat. Teapots are dead. Kind of. What I mean by this is you can still get them, but they're not probably going to be given to us anymore from like campaigns. It looks like they're just going to be distributing them from the Mana Prism shop. I don't mind this too much because I think this is them sort of admitting that their current strategy using teapots wasn't working anymore. It wasn't an adequate like means to incentivize anyone to really do anything, nor was it actually like getting people to like finish the story and stuff like that. So I think they're just saying, you know what, fuck it. Our new gimmick is going to be that pure prism exchange ticket. Screw teapots. And that's kind of what this seems like. So basically from the first of each month to when the exchange target is renewed until the end of the following month. So if you exchange at 2000 on Friday, October 4th, the expiration date is 23:59 on Saturday, November 30th. That just is the way it is, okay? So essentially, if you buy it late, you don't get more time is what I think they're trying to say. And you guys can see you can exchange up to 30 times. Holy hell. And it's 10 pieces each. So this would be 300 mana prisms. That's actually not bad. Honestly, that's a really solid exchange for 300 mana prisms. The only thing I'm going to say, and this is something that I think the devs are kind of missing the forest for the trees on. It is still not easy for a new player to get mana prisms, particularly if they're free to play. If you're a whale, you get mana prisms from rolling the gacha. If you're free to play, you don't roll the gacha very often, so you don't get those mana prisms that much. So they have repeatedly added more stuff to the mana prism shop over the last 2 years, and I think it's getting kind of difficult for your average player to be able to buy everything from the mana prism shop. I have almost no mana prisms left. Right. So I think you're going to see, yeah, your people that have way too many mana prisms and don't know what to do with it, they're going to buy this. People that don't are not going to touch this. And I don't blame them. Because it's like, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't actually enhance their account very much. Blue, thank you for the 25. I thought of something funnier than 24, I see. Please note the Stargazer teapot has an expiration date and will appear after the expiration date. Oh, will disappear, sorry. The expiration date of the teapot can be checked in the owned items list in my room. Yeah, what if you don't own any? A bug regarding Stargazing teapot. We've confirmed an issue where the expiration date for the teapot may be displayed as shorter than it actually is on the party confirmation screen or in the dialogue when deploying multiple characters in succession. This display issue only and does not affect the actual expiration date. Interesting that they know about that already. We will be permanently adding 10 command codes that appeared in pastime events to the Da Vinci Workshop, exchange mana prisms, and exchange rare prisms. Good. We need a better path for these. I hope they, kind of like with the Miss Crane shop, where you have literally a shop separately now for costumes. I hope they do something for command codes and craft essences in the future. I think that'd actually be smart of them to do so. So it looks like Scarlet Fairy's Command and Seal, Giant's Cave Emblem, Himeji Bat, Angel's Bed, and Red Bearded Gentleman's Command Seal are all going to be going into the Mana Prism shop. I think that's all of these bottom ones. So this is actually really nice because that is a fire one. I think this is Buster Crit. I don't remember if it's fire. That one's the bed one's actually kind of nice as well. And that one's actually Star Absorption, so that's not bad either. Is it also fire? Okay, I couldn't remember. One of them that looks like this is the actual flame one. The other one is the Buster Crit one, and I can't remember which one's which. Okay, so exchange mana prisms, additional content for the rare prisms. Sorry, I said mana prisms. Demon King Gun, Raryu Mask, Genie's Lamp, Impossible Phantom, Horse, and Cosmic Balance are all getting added. You can see these are these top ones. Again, this is another burn command code. That one I think that's Divine Crit or something like that. That's a good arts one. That is anti-saber, if I remember correctly, and I don't remember the Astolfo Griffin one. Da Vinci's Workshop will be permanently adding the unlock rights for 3 previously released craft essences through Mana Prism Exchange to its rare prisms. So this is interesting. This is kind of them admitting that they dropped the ball. Why? Basically, they've come out with new Mana Prisms, CEs. They have had them be available, and they have... oh, you got rid of my pinned message, goddammit. And they have now at this point like not added them back to the rare prism shop to allow people to re-exchange. So now instead of adding 1 at a time like they used to, they're now having to add 3 at once because they kind of have let that languish for a little bit. Yeah, the message is just we're having community night. So again, let the service notice chat. We're having community night Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be playing Among Us for Halloween, since murder, death, kill is an appropriate way to do that. But yeah, Sunday night here, we're going to be doing that this Sunday. Whoa, hold on. They exchange the target craft essence through exchange for mana prisms, so 1,000 mana prisms will be required for each exchange. What's more, the newly added craft essence unlock rights can be exchanged for free if certain conditions are met. Is that new, chat? I feel like that's new. Because that's definitely nice. Like, they're basically saying this isn't going to cost you rare prisms if you have done these. Yeah, that's really, really good. Which they should do, because that's one of the more stupid and annoying aspects of getting these Cs is it costs you rare prisms. Which just limits what, like, free-to-play players can use rare prisms on. Have they done it before, Trips? Don't we already have C's in the rare prism shop? That's what I was asking. Is this the first time they've done that? Because I just don't remember. Like, the problem that I have is I have all of these purchased on JP already anyways. I know they've done it for costumes, but I don't remember about C's. Yeah, in the same way. Chubbs is 100% right. Okay, so they have done it before. So it's just new for these ones. Unlock rights are permanent, have no exchange deadline. Yeah, so that's always the thing. If you ever use a rare prism to pull a craft essence back, there is no exchange deadline on it, thank God. If you've already exchanged 5 of the target craft essences, you will no longer be able to exchange it for the unlock right, aka you can get a second MLB of a craft essence, but only if you acquired it normally the first time. You cannot exchange it twice. So for instance, like on NA, I can buy a second sweet crystal, I believe. I just never have. For those who have already exchanged, blah, 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 only remaining ones will be unlocked. Yeah, so basically, if you've already, like, if you had purchased 2 of the copies, and then you exchanged in order to bring it back into the Mana Prism shop to buy the additional copies, only the additional copies would be there. Which actually, yeah, then maybe I can't buy that second copy of Sweet Crystal. I don't know. Like I said, I've never actually tried. Notes regarding the free release rights. Those who have already acquired them will not be able to exchange them. If you... Yeah, so there you go. That's it telling me right there I wouldn't be able to. If you achieve the conditions for free unlock after exchanging each unlock right for 1 rare prism, the 1 rare prism used for the exchange will be returned to your gift box. Oh, sweet. Permanently adding 10 more craft essences that appeared in the past time events to concept reimagining. It's here! It's finally here! One of the most meta CEs in the entire game is finally available. Yeah, that right there, chat. That is the one you wish to purchase. Trust me. Cat's having a heart attack. You got to understand, chat. I don't have Ox Demon King on JP. It's one of the few things that I've been like, damn, this sucks. I've never had the chance to get it. So now I'll at least be able to get one. Yeah, that is... Ox Demon King is definitely worth the 5,000 pieces for that. Which I think that's it. Yeah, it looks like the 4-star ones are only 200 per. Cherry Icicle is interesting. Unfortunately, Cherry Icicle isn't all attack. Cherry Icicle is your quick version of like cranking and Ocean Flyer. Unfortunately, Cherry Icicle is split stats. So that's the downside to it. Like, honestly, out of all of these, obviously that. I think this one's all attack as well. I think this one maybe as well. And I don't remember if that one is or not. Hokusai C is split. At least I think. I'm pretty sure Painting Summer is. This is one of the reasons I never leveled my Painting Summer. Painting Summer's kind of nice on support still, but that's about it. It's not bad if you don't have like something like Ocean Flyer, right? Like, it's never a bad idea to like maybe acquire some of these if you have nothing better, but my advice is probably it's not worth 5,000 mana prisms. You'll eventually get something like Ocean Flyer back in the shop. Oh, is this Mystic Codes returning? Yeah, okay, so this is the one that we just got on an A. This is the Tsukihime one. This is going to be added to the Da Vinci Rare Prism Exchange. Oh, they made Anniversary Blonde free if certain conditions are met. Ooh, that's nice. What are the conditions? Part 2 prologue. Yes, of course they tied it to story. They're tying, chat, everything is tied to story now, and it's kind of hilarious. You can tell they're on a one-track mind here at this point to get you guys to do story. Like, and I don't blame them. It's kind of clear that that's one of their, like, best indicators of, like, returning players and players that are committed to their game is if they've done the story or not. Okay, if you've already acquired them, you won't be able to re-exchange. And if you have already purchased them or fulfilled the conditions, your rare prisms will be returned to your gift box. Looks like we are getting the Summer 5 outfit for Emiya, the Summer 3 outfit for Robin, and the Summer 4 outfit for Fuma are going to be added to the Da Vinci shop, which, yeah, I think there are some of the few that weren't. Yep, and it looks like they're all free as long as you have done certain things. That doesn't mean free to build, it just means free to exchange. Free to acquire them, but not to actually be able to use them yet. Yeah, so you can still obtain it even if you don't have the servant, but you're not going to obviously be able to do anything with it. For a limited time, the AP consumption for all weekday quests that appear, aka Chaldea Gate stuff, right, will be reduced to 1/3. So that's why you guys were seeing 13 AP quests for me, rather than anything that is like half cost. It's even cheaper than half cost. In addition, all types of Ember Gathering and Training Grounds appear each day of the week. So this is great. This is literally something, chat. And for those of you guys that are saying that this campaign lacks, chat, allow me to put this into perspective for you. Because I also happen to know, and we haven't gotten to it yet, that there is 3 times success rate right now. This is literally Anniversary again. Only even cheaper. So again, I'm going to say, if you guys are not satisfied with this campaign, you're missing the forest for the trees. This is even cheaper than Anniversary, even more efficient than Anniversary. Okay? Okay, so blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you literally have all quests available. Everything is 1/3 cost, and it's pretty nuts. Blah, blah. Okay, so you guys can see this is the amount that each one will cost, and then actually, like, they low-key round down. So for instance, when it's 10, it's 3 AP. Instead of it, like, it would be like 3.3, and instead of them like being assholes and being like it's 4, no, they're rounding it down for you. So really, really nice. And you guys can see the super and extreme variants that would normally cost 40 are only 13 now. Same thing with Training Grounds. Oberon is a support servant in this because he's also the summon servant, right? Basically, you're getting another banner for him. Training Ground Treasure Vault for a limited time, so you can basically just take him as a designated support. That's kind of funny. And again, they're all available. During the following period, when you strengthen your servants and craft essences, the chances of great success, 2 times experience bonus, and extreme success, aka super suck, 3 times experience bonus will be tripled for a limited time. Yeah, normally there is only 1 campaign a year that gives triple suck, and that campaign is Anniversary. You are getting a second one this year. That is absurd. And I don't think like they've ever done that before. I'd have to look back, but the increase in experience gained from great and extreme success when enhancing and evolving craft essences does not apply to accumulated experience. If you don't understand what that means, just understand that this is what relates to craft essence bombing. If you're not making craft essence bombs, you don't have to care about this. If you are and you want to know more about this, go watch my craft essence bomb making guide. Okay, currently other campaigns are implementing a double chance of great success and extreme success when strengthening certain servants. However, during the period of this campaign, the triple chance of great success and extreme success when strengthening all servants will be applied first, and the effects will not stack. So you don't get 5 times suck, chat. Basically, it's just going to take the higher of the 2. During the period below, you will gain 3 times experience when strengthening the 5-star servant that you purchased with your commemorative ticket. So it is 3 times more efficient to level them. So low key, chat, a big brain strat would be technically to exchange for somebody that you already had your eyes set on going to 120. But hold on, let's read the nitty gritty before you guys jump the gun on anything like that. Thankfully, you guys can't exchange anyways right now. So the event period is 2 weeks. Please note, if you take the following steps after officially joining the party, the effect of the 3 times experience gain and strengthening for the exchange servant will be lost. When a 5-star servant, so again, they're saying you won't get 3 times experience efficiency here if something like this happens. When a 5-star servant is used as the enhancement material after officially joining, in other words, if you burn them after they're official, when a servant is used as a material to strengthen a noble phantasm after officially joining. Oh, that's evil. Okay, so basically, if you combine them into another copy, it wouldn't benefit you. So my strategy is right out the window right there. If you sell the servant, aka you burn them entirely, right? So feeding, burning, and strengthening noble phantasms will get rid of the 3 times rate. Only 5-star SSR servants exchanged with the 30 million downloads commemorative ticket are eligible for the triple experience in the campaign. Please note that if you already have the same servant, the servant you originally had will not be eligible for triple. So they're explicitly stating that you cannot do the thing that I hinted that you might be able to. Currently, other campaigns also being held that will double the experience gain when strengthening certain servants. However, the period of this campaign, the priority will be given to target servants with the effect of the tripled experience gain when strengthening a 5-star servant exchanging for $30 million commemorative ticket. Effects will not stack. So about a bug regarding servant strengthening, we've confirmed there's an issue on the servant strengthening screen when strengthening a certain 5-star servant that was exchanged in the 30 million downloads ticket. During the 3 times experience earned period, the predicted strengthening result and experience gain may be displayed as 6 times rather than 3 times. The target servants are as follows: Achilles, Europa, Odysseus, Dioscuri, and Francis Drake. I'm going to guess it's because they also overlap with whatever the other campaign is, the LB5 one. This is the display issue only, and the actual experience earned will reflect the 3 times efficiency. So, in other words, you are not going to get 6 times. It'll say 6, but it's incorrect. It's actually 3. And then, chat, I need everybody to ping Mr. True Love Trouble right now because they added this line in here. We must notify Trubs. Servants exchanged with the $30 million commemorative ticket will also receive a bonus to increased attack power in all quests. Their attack power is increased by 50%. So that way you have rose-tinted glasses, you get your new unit, and you're like, oh my god, they're so strong, even though they might not be outside of this event. The bonus effect will not be applied to support servants. Let's see. Event period, blah, 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 blah. For all masters, regardless of level, we will be expanding the friends limit by 3. This will expand the initial friend limit from 37 to 40. Yeah, I think that was a predictable change. So basically, we have 3 new friend slots on JP. Not that I'm at the cap anyways. Information such as the limited time 30 million downloads campaign Oberon pickup is also available. For more details, please check the banners below. So again, just real quick here, covering each of these. You guys can see Oberon is your go-to at this point in time. We also have, is that 3 new craft essences? It looks like it. Let me translate here. Yeah, 3 upcoming craft essences will be added to the story summon will be released early. Okay. The lineup of 4-star Cs will be partially renewed. That play voices when first summoned. Oh. They will have a voiceover. The voiceover can be heard during the first summoning animation when you obtain the craft essence or when you first obtain it from the present box. In addition, a play animation button has been added to the craft essence detail screen, and by touching the button, you can watch the first summoning animation when you first obtain the craft essence. That's interesting. I actually wish that they would have something like that for summoning a unit. That would be awesome, right? Aniko, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate it. Chat, can we get some love? The appearance rate of featured servants in limited time craft essences will increase. For more information, please check the summoning details at the bottom left of the Saint Court summoning screen. Blah, 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 blah. Wait, what? Servants and craft essences are guaranteed to be 4-star or higher. The appearance rate of featured servants in limited time craft essences will increase. Huh? I'm gonna guess this isn't an actual change, and they're just indicating that it's a rate up, and it's Google Translate is doing fucky stuff. Because like this is the same lingo as always. So I don't know why it's phrased that way, but I'm just gonna assume that's Google Translate. Chat, that's why you don't trust machine translation. But yeah, so obviously we got Oberon banner coming here. Limited time craft essence is One Night's Dream. This is a returning one. This is one that we've already had, and it's not that bad. It's split stats, it grants self invincibility and MP gain. The biggest issue with it is the split stats, because if it were all attack, this would be a pretty nice one for a looper to have, since it has invuln pierce as well. But it is what it is. Or Lord, this is a new one, it looks like. And it looks like this is not a limited time craft essence. These are being permanently added to the game, I assume. So grant self invincibility 3 times and increases buff removal resistance by 10%. So this is basically a new version, a new variant of Volaman. Definitely interesting. It is all HP. That's certainly probably more desirable for a survivability CE. I'm not a huge fan of buff removal resistance on a craft essence, because it's never enough. Like, it's always a shit amount. And that's why I think it's one of the worst effects you can possibly have on a CE. Yeah, I mean, it might save you if you had a unit that didn't have their maxed out skill with it. So like, if their skill went up to 100% and it wasn't maxed out and you only had like 70 or 80%, then sure, something like this might be okay. But my advice, don't rely on a craft essence for something like that. Lower your skill, chat. Because it's going to extremely limit what your options are for craft essences as well. Dry Fist here. This one's all attack scaling. Star concentration by 200% at MLB. Quick card performance by 10%. Arts card performance by 10%. And Buster card performance by 10%. Interesting. So that's a new variant of the Kyrie CE. They basically added in some additional star concentration to that. That's okay. I don't hate that one, but it's not the best either. And then the 4-star here is False Geshu, False Promise. Split stats. Grant self 5% NP gain at MLB each turn, and increases quick card performance, arts card performance, and NP gain by 5%. That is a weird one, is what I will say there. Wouldn't be the worst on a like support though. Okay, notes on the summoning. Definite summon feature. Yes, that's pity is what it's talking about. Serving coins, yada yada yada. Okay. And then we have this banner here, chat. And the second banner is a reprint of previous download campaign commemorative pickup summon. So you guys can see from October 6th, aka Sunday, to November 1st, Friday, we are literally just going to have rotating banners going through. This is kind of nutty if you look at it. So again, keep your eyes peeled. Basically, anybody that has been on a download campaign is going to have a rate up here. So Gil, Kentucky, Bryn, Shisho, Jalter, Da Vinci, Ishtar, Merlin, Hassan, Kiara, which actually didn't Kiara just get a banner? That's kind of nutty. Tamamo, Squirtoria, Abby, MHXA, Bride. Oh my God, Scotty's here. Erish, Musashi. Yeah, they're cashing in. They're gonna make some money off of this. QSH, Murasaki, Arthur. Guys, my boy better get a frickin' buff, man. He better get a frickin' buff, I swear. And then Ibuki, Castoria, Ishtar, Bunny, and Mel all there. That's freaking nuts. That's so many good banners. 26 types of summons featuring 26 limited time servants and previously limited time craft essences. Okay. In addition, 3 upcoming craft essences will be added to the story. Summon will be released early. So again, they're just permanently added. During the pickup period, the increased rate, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, each one is held as a separate summon. Oh, wow. The +1, so the paidless single, will be counted separately for each one, which is how it normally is. But so like basically, since each of these should be available for multiple days, you will have like overlap. So you will be able to like do it. But you guys can see, like, I say multiple days, right? It's still probably only like 24 hours for each of these. But yeah, I mean, you have like every single meta support in here to some degree, right? Like you have literally Castoria, Merlin, Scotty, Oberon himself. You have Bride. I think the only ones missing in that regard are like Summer Scotty, Tamamo, Koyanskaya. Like it's kind of it. Oh yeah, Lady Avalon. Yeah. Yeah, it's like still that's a ton, right? That's a ton of stuff. Oh wow, Partake with the King is coming back. Oh my god, this is gonna be kind of nuts. Because some of these craft essences are gonna be old and they are very difficult to get your hands on. Like, Partake's biggest issue is it's still to date like the best 60% CE in the entire game, assuming you need Buster, right? But the problem with it is that it's just never really available solo raid up. And this isn't solo raid up per se. Oh, actually, no, it is. This is a 4-star C. So yeah, holy crap. Oh my god, that's going to be solid. Okay, the Kentucky banner's not got that good of ones. Bryn, that's nah. Shisha, that's actually a decent one. So Crimson Spear is pretty solid. Yeah, here you go. So at MLB, it's all attack scaling, quick card up of 15%, critical damage with quick cards by 20, and NP charge at 50. This is nice. This is one of the very few 50% quick Cs that is all attack in the entire game. So this one's actually a really, really good one, low key. It's basically, it's Knights of Marines minus 10% charge plus 20% crit damage on quick. That's a fair exchange, I would say. It only had that one banner for Shisho Fest before, right? Because Shisho Fest never had a rerun. Oh, this is also a good one. First drawing, all attack scaling. And again, Buster card performance by 10%, battle charged at 50%, and 15 stars when appearing. So 10% Buster, 50% charge, and 15 stars. The Da Vinci one, this one is meh. The Ishtar one, this one's actually pretty solid as well. It's also all attack scaling. Buster performance by 15, critical damage by 15, and NP charged by 50. The Merlin, I believe the 5-star here is okay. Star of Camelot. So it's star concentration of 600% on all attack. It's not the best, but it is what it is. And you also get 4 stars per turn. Old Man of the Mountain has no C's. My boy, look how they massacred my boy. He done got no craft essences. Feels bad, man. Kiara, this is interesting. Kiara doesn't really have any either. They're just going with other ones. We Will Conquer the Stars is an interesting one. This is from the CCC event. It's got 2,000 attack, Buster card performance by 20%, and NP gain by 20%. Kind of a weird combination, IMO, but hey, if you need to use Buster and also like card your way to an NP, it's not bad. So like, for instance, maybe like a unit like Ivan or somebody that you might be going like, hey, I'm kind of using them in a challenge scenario, and they're already kind of NP gain centric, that would be an okay one. Tamamo. Oh, wow. Yeah, Pirates Party is a good one. So Pirates Party is all attack. It is invincibility, pierce, and 4 stars per turn. This was, for a lot of people, because this is a Summer 1 CE, this was like one of their very first, for most people's, invincibility, pierce. Like, so a lot of people had this one, and it was a fairly, like, serviceable craft essence. Squirtoria, there it is. Knights of Marines. Knights of Marines is solid. Knights of Marines is if you have a quick unit and you want to start from 60% charge, Knights of Marines is the best CE for you. It is all attack scaling. It is 15% quick and it is 60% charge at MLB. Even if you don't get MLB, it's still all attack scaling, 50% charge and 10% quick. So it's not bad either way. Emerald Float, man, it's actually not that bad, but the problem is it's split stats with NP damage, and I don't like that combo. I think that's stupid because you're never going to level up that craft essence. And then, oh my freaking god, they did her dirty. MHXA here, they dogpiled her with CEs because Cute Orangeette is still really freaking strong. So Cute Orangeette is your 5-star here. It's basically the Sakura one right here, okay? And this one is 2000 attack, NP gained by 30%, and NP damage by 20% at MLB. Cute Orangeette is fucking strong if you have to go the distance in a fight. It will have you just getting back to that MP over and over and over again and hitting hard with it. So it is still to this day one of the better challenge quest CEs for a long-term fight. Chocolatier split stats, so I don't really recommend it. So if you start getting all Chocolatiers, that sucks because like it's really a shame that they paired it with this because that is such a good one. But there's so many craft essences on raid up there. Bride has this one. Ooh, this one's coming back. So again, 2000 attack scaling, NP damage of 20%, critical damage of 20%, and 4 stars per turn. This one's also not a bad challenge sheet. It's just a decent all-rounder. Scotty, okay, another nice one here. We have Love Story, A Story of Love and Hope, and this one is split stats, but, chat, this is an old anniversary CE. And anniversary CEs have a tendency to basically be 60% charge. So if you needed an outside path to a 60% CE, this can work. Again, the biggest issue with it is split stats, but it does have star concentration and critical damage by 15% there. I'm not a hugest fan of this CE, but hey, 60% is 60%. Sometimes it's better than nothing. Erish here ends up having, again, the same one that Ishtar had there, plus her own, because they wanted to screw you. To me, Starry Night should not be here, right? Because, like, this, to me, is pretty clearly Rin, and if it's not Rin, it's Ishtar. But at the end of the day, to me, including Starry Nights on this one instead of the other one, they're kind of doubling up with you, and it's making it really annoying because you guys can see there's actually 3 SSR CEs here. So good luck, because Flower Sunshine's not bad. It is all attack scaling, arts card performance by 15%, buster performance by 15%, and overcharge by 2 stages. Similarly here, Ghostly Girl's not that good of one IMO. So yeah, depending on your desire, you may either want Starry Nights here or Flower Sunshine, but this is muddying the waters. It's going to make it difficult to get MLB of any of those. Musashi here. Oh, she's got a good one. First Sunrise. So First Sunrise is just all around solid, okay? Especially if you got a buster unit. It's attack up of 2000, buster card performance of 20%, and starting charge of 50. So it's just a very straightforward C. It's not the strongest of its variants, but it is a good one nonetheless. So if you are ever in a situation where you can't use multiple of the same craft essence for whatever reason, First Sunrise is a very decent backup option. It's also good on units that are not buster heavy. So for instance, like, an example that I would give you would be like Drake before her buff, where she just had attack up and NP damage, and she didn't have Buster up in her kit. Something like First Sunrise went pretty well with her. But this is also pre like Koyanskaya system times where like Buster up was not nearly as common, and you were more likely to have attack up. So having a Buster up from a craft essence went a lot further. Still, it's better than nothing, and like I said, it may be an option for you if you can't if you can't end up taking other craft essences. Like, you've already taken Cranking, you've already taken Aerial Drive. That's still a good one. Okay, so this is the QSH one. I actually don't remember what this one is. It may be one of the summer CEs. Royal Weapon, or maybe Chaldea Boys. All attack scaling, self-invincibility 2 times, and critical damage by 20%. It's actually not terrible. It's fairly QSH centric. So Murasaki here has the chocolatier one, if I remember correctly. Bittersweet. Yep. So self-invincibility 2 times. 2 times, and Noble Phantasm power by 30%. All attack scaling. My only issue with this, kind of in the same way as like the prior one with QSH, it's the split here. Like, you have hard extra damage combined with survivability, and that's a weird cocktail. It's saying, hey, I need to hit you really hard, but I also need to like have extra survivability to live through the first 2 hits. And that's odd. Like, it certainly could be useful, but it's going to be very specific scenarios, so don't expect to use something like that very often. My boy Arthur. Oh wow, screw you. Oh, that is such a dick move. They just keep screwing the Chaldea Boys, guys. So let's point some things out here, because there's a lot to break down in this one. So Detective Edmund here is not a good craft essence IMO. It's split stats, but otherwise, if it were all attack, it would actually be pretty solid. It's Pierce Invincibility and Arts card performance. The problem is the split stats, so that one's kind of right out. Now we get to a better one. This is Talk of the Hot Sands. Back in the day, this was an extremely meta CE. Nowadays, less so, because star concentration is just not difficult to acquire. Like, basically, the solution that we run with all the time, because stars are so prevalent, is we just end up flooding the party with stars. So essentially here, this is all attack scaling, star concentration by 600%, which is enough. This basically, I'd say this almost like moves you up an order of magnitude in like star weight. So it's definitely a nice amount there, and increased critical damage by 25%. So like, again, back in the day, star concentration and crit damage, all attack scaling, that's a good combination CE if you want someone to crit and crit hard and crit frequent. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Like, so at the end of the day, this may not be nearly as big of a target nowadays for people. For some people, they may be like me and they may have like 3 copies of this sucker and they may be tempted to MLB it finally. That's certainly an option, but the problem is this is the same shit draw that you've gotten on every other Talk of Hot Sands rate up. That is to say, you are split with 3 SSR CEs, and that is stupid. Now, again, so that's Talk of Hot Sands, which is that one right there. This is As You Wish, the last one we'll be talking about for the 5 stars. And you guys can see this one's all HP scaling, invincibility of 1 turn, and NP gain of 30%. This one's actually not bad for a support, for a survivability situation. I actually am okay with this one. I'm not going to necessarily tell you to level it all the way up to 100, but it may be worthy of it depending on how often you see yourself using something like this. Now, that's your 5-star Cs. But there's one 4-star C we have to point out here, and it's this one. This one with Coup on it. This is Outrage. This is one of only, 4 taunt Cs that exist in the entire game. Right here. It is all attack scaling, which is perfect for a taunt C if you want someone to die. Target concentration for 1 turn and NP gain of 15%. I don't even really have to show you the MLB. Like, it's not really going to make a huge difference. Okay? Are there only 3? I thought there was 4. Because you have, you have the Halloween one, you have Outrage, and you have Poster Girl, right? What's the 4th one? What's the one I'm forgetting? Mash Gorgon? Wait, what's the Gorgon one? Oh, you mean Poster Girl. Yeah, Poster Girl is Medusa, chat. Mash has 2, right. Yeah, she has Halloween Arrangement, and then I don't remember the other one. Grand New Year. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I was gonna say, it's like I thought there was 4, but I didn't remember. I couldn't remember the 4th one. My brain told me the right number, but I can't recall them all. But yeah, again, I can't stress to you guys enough how important it is to have at least a singular taunt C in FGO. Taunt Cs are not common. They rarely ever get rate ups. I'm not going to tell you guys to roll here. And the reason that I'm not going to tell you to roll here is because if you desperately need a taunt C, you can get a copy of Outrage for the low cost of, I think it's like either 1 or 3 rare prisms. Basically, you go into the rare prism shop, you find the 2017 if you're on JP, or 2019 if you're on NA, Chaldea Boys, and you go in there, you exchange it, and you choose for a craft essence, Outrage. So that is a guaranteeable way to get it that will not cost you quartz. Okay? So that's why I'm not going to tell you to roll here. But if you want additional copies, if you want more taunt Cs, this is one of the extremely rare banners where it's actually on rate up and you have another shot at acquiring it. It's not very common. The problem that I'm going to point out, chat, is it is one of 4 different 4-star Cs. Sorry, 3 different 4-star Cs. So it's a crapshoot. You might end up getting all of this. You might end up getting all of this. So just buyer beware. Okay, it looks like Ibuki doesn't have anything with her either. Castoria ends up having another 60% C. This one is very much like the Da Vinci one. It's not my guaranteed go-to. It's split stats. It's quick card performance and buster card performance by 10% and starting charge of 60%. So it's not a terrible craft essence, but again, if you need something that's 60%, that provides a little bit more oomph, there you go. It's an option for you. Space Ishtar ends up having Princess of Anko here. This one's also split stats, which is a shame because it could be an interesting one, but it is HP recovery here and NP charge of 50% as well as quick up. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna say it like has to be a like damage dealer C. It could also be used technically on a support, but it's kind of just a weird mixed bag. Bunny's got poolside bar. This one would be okay if it were, again, all attack, but same deal. It's kind of a weird mishmash. Buster up of 15, NP gain of 15, and NP damage of 20. So again, this could be really solid if this were all attack, but as it is, it's just kind of meh. And then Mel, who should be our last one, it's talking all about Melisand's ascension stages there. Don't worry about it. Her featured craft essence is Holy Heart here. This one is arts card performance of 10%, critical damage of 15%, and overcharge 2 stages 1 time, split stats. To me, same deal. This one's probably not actually worth. Again, you might really like it just for the art. That's okay. But actually, like, hey, should you roll for this craft essence? No, you probably shouldn't. And then again, the permanent craft essences that we already talked about. So This is a nuts campaign. This is actually pretty crazy that they're giving us this download campaign. So these banners are really good. The features that we've gotten in the 30 million are amazing. Like I said, the only points of contention that I have are I sincerely wonder what they're doing by giving us mana or sorry, not rare prism or mana prism, pure prism refreshes. But it is what it is, right? Like, it's certainly good for the players to get that. It's going to alleviate our burden of farming. So I don't really have a gripe with it. I just wonder about the sanity of the devs. But so there's that, and then I think I certainly would have liked to have seen either teasing of the upcoming event or maybe more quality of life I would certainly like that. But again, just in quick summation, you guys are getting an SSR ticket. You guys are getting pure prism refreshes. You guys are going to get download campaign missions. You guys are going to get start dash campaign. You guys are getting a third of a cost dailies. You guys are getting mana prism and rare prism shop refreshes. You guys are getting triple suck rates. You guys are getting tea kettles, aka teapots, added to the mana prism shop. You're getting the return of certain command codes, and yeah, it's all kind of nuts. It's all kind of overwhelming for how much we're actually getting. So. It's not limited, Katana. Here, I'll show it to you guys again. It's at the top up here. So you guys can see all this shit in one download campaign. That's what I'm going to say. I understand people desire other things. And I can't say this enough, but your desire of other things does not make this a bad or disappointing campaign. You guys got to temper expectations a little bit. If you don't get the one thing that you want and that ruins something for you, right? Like, I'm sorry. You have to be able to accept the good things that you were given. Start looking glass half full instead of glass half empty, right? Like, that's the best way I can put it for you guys. Because don't get me wrong. Would I have liked to have seen other stuff here? Sure. But this is an insane campaign. They gave us so much crap here. I'm actually astounded by how much they rammed into one campaign. This is a pseudo anniversary again. And that's kind of crazy. Like, again, free SSR, Oberon banner, 3 times suck rate, dailies being a third cost. That alone is like anniversary right there. The only thing you're not getting is a shit ton of quartz thrown at you, and you're still getting a significant amount. If we succeeded on the social media impressions, we should be getting at minimum 60 quartz from this, at minimum. Likely be no of the event on Thursday or Friday. Yeah, like I said, I'm just surprised that they didn't okay, even if they didn't want to tease the new event, chat. To further explain my mentality on that, I am surprised that they did not immediately tell you guys when the next live stream is. Right? Think about that. You've got a new event coming. We all know it. There's going to be a live stream for it. Why aren't they telling you at least when the live stream is going to be? So that's why I'm like, this is kind of odd. Did the same thing for $20 million campaign back then. Did they? Would have been perfect if they gave us 180 master level. I think they showed the results for that, and I think it's only like a quarter of the people are at 170 right now. I don't know though. I don't remember the exact number that they said. I may be talking out my ass, but I think that came out with the Famitsu interview. Only showed the download stuff and not the event that followed. Yeah, it's fine. Like I said, I'm not expecting them to necessarily show us the new event. I'm surprised that we have no information. like quite literally, the only thing we know is there is a new event coming. It requires LB5 completion. That's it. That's all we know. Like, they didn't give us a title. They didn't give us a banner. They didn't give us a trailer or a commercial. And that's all fine. But then they also didn't even give us a live stream date. We don't know when we will know more. Because their schedule's a bit wonky, so they announce it till they're sure. Yeah, it may be the case, right? They may be strapped, and they may have to push it some. So we'll see. That may be why they're not announcing it. Oh, is it LB4? LB5 is in November? Okay. My bad. Yeah, which is, I'm also going to say this. I don't think that's that big of a deal. We've had other events that have required LB6 already. So, like, I don't care, right? Like, at this point, if you're not done with it, it's probably because you're new. And if you're new, you're going to struggle to get caught up anyways, right? So yeah, I don't think they necessarily need to warn us every single time like that, but I get it. I think it's better to tell us than not, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not worried about that stuff. Doubly so when they ended up giving us more pure prisms and stuff, so I still can't believe they did that. They doubled the number of pure prisms. That is so friggin' insane. Yeah, but there's still a quality of life that I would like to see them do for the game. Hopefully they cover that in the future. It doesn't all need to be here. They already were doing way too much here. That much is clear. So, like I said, I'm not upset that they didn't give us like the coin system changes that we were talking about and stuff. Because like they did so much in this download campaign. You guys saw, I sat here reading this with you guys for like 2 hours. It took 2 hours to read everything from this campaign. Now, yeah, I stopped and talked along the way, but it's pretty clear that there's a lot going on with this. This is not like, oh, hey, this is just some instantaneous thing, right? Like, we just basically dumped a big chunk out, right? I'm finally able to max out Alice. Obsidian Daggers, she needs it, man. Yeah, I think that's going to be the good part about this. Like, just having the capacity, having the capability to be able to work on units that you're maybe struggling with. Having the capacity to be able to, like, do more with regard... And there you go, my AP capped out again, chat. Having the capacity to be able to do more on this sort of stuff. I don't like this. I still don't like this. I hate this. But it is what it is. But yeah, like having more pure prisms in the game means you guys can get more out of the pure prism shop. Having the resets means that you're going to be able to get more of a specific material out of the shop. So I think all of that's to the player's advantage. That is going to be a huge boon, a huge benefit. And again, just for clarification, chat, I believe it's Sunday that you'll be able to exchange your ticket. Like I said, we are doing community night that night, so I will not exchange my ticket on Sunday. I will exchange it Monday with you guys, basically for our normally scheduled stream. So. I should probably say, I know I have not streamed the past couple Mondays. That has been because I come home from work on Monday and I feel like shit. But I'll make an effort. I'll make sure that we're live for that. Okay, boom, boom, boom. How did I end up with 70 on that Buster card? Crap. That may be a problem. That'd be Saturday for us, given the time conversion. It's fine. I'll delay it till Monday. I think that's the safest. Okay, do you think it's fine to skip out on storm pods to use the discounted QP or embers? I wouldn't. I would just tell you to pop an apple or something instead. We've gotten so many apples from like storm pods during events and stuff. I wouldn't. I wouldn't bother. Right. I need a ticket rush. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the ticket's going to be there. You've got plenty of time to do it and complete it. And I don't know who I'm going to pick. I'll have to think about that a little bit because, like, there's naturally going to be some really good options. The biggest problem that I have is because it's not including limited units. I had my hopes that it was going to include limited units because there was definitely someone I was going to take. But because it doesn't include limiteds, that makes choosing this one a little bit more spicy for me. So 13 AP. Yeah, this is actually, I agree with what Strom's saying. This is not a bad time to apple. Like, the only thing I'll say is we are for sure getting a lotto in the next couple months on JP. So just take that under advisement. especially if you really need a lotto. But besides that, yeah, I mean, everything's here right now. You've got Embers, you've got Training Grounds, you've got QP. So there is certainly a lot here that you can do to work on your account. There's a lot of efficiency in terms of like Ember gathering, especially there with 5-star Embers. So I don't think it's crazy to pop apples. I think just make sure that you have enough. Make sure you know like how much you need and what your goals are, so that you don't just run out of apples. But I don't blame anybody for using this to their advantage. I think you're going to start to see a lot more 120s here, especially due to the change that they did already with the coins. Some people already are the beneficiaries of that extra bonding, and so I think you'll start to see a lot more 120s because of that. I wanted to farm, but I don't think it's worth to farm them now. That's up to you, right? Like, and here's what I'm going to try to say to you guys. This is going to sound crazy, right, to some of you, but this is probably a good rule of thumb. If you are over 300 gold apples, you're good. You can use some apples. Why do I say that? You are going to struggle to use 300 gold apples in a lotto unless you are playing it religiously. Okay? So at that point, if you're over that amount of gold apples, you're fine. You're fine. You could definitely use some apples here. Now, if you're what if I'm only at 200 cat? I don't know. That's going to really depend on like how efficient you are with farming and whether or not you see yourself getting through it all. I'm just throwing a high number out there for you will be okay if you're over that amount. Full AP for like one Saber Gem. Yeah. I'm going to tell you at the end of the day, like you're doing lottos usually because the total summation of what's in a box, right? So like obviously the Ascension mats, but then Embers, Mana Prisms, QP, Skill Gems, Friend Points, all of that's in there. And if you find value in all of that, that is what really makes lotto boxes worth so much. If you don't find value in all of that, well, that's a little bit more spicy. This long event that's about to end, what do you think about it? Maybe in the beginning didn't sound that good. How do you feel about it now that it's about to end? You're talking about summer, Luis? Yes, summer. From everything I understand from talking with Trubs, right, and from kind of seeing other people's reactions to it, the story for this summer event was amazing. And basically doubly so if you've ever played anything from the Extra universe, okay? So in that regard, I don't think it's bad. What I don't like with it is the scheduling. I think the scheduling was atrocious. I think it was stupid, and I think they should never do this again. However, I don't blame them for trying. I think it's always a good idea to try new stuff, especially with a game that's 9 years old. So, like, I'm going to give them a pass. They tried it. It didn't really work out, IMO, but it was still a pretty cool event. That's my takeaway. I just hope they don't do it again. I was disappointed we didn't get a summer welfare. Yeah, I can see that, right? I could see that kind of being an issue. It's still a welfare. Yeah, you still got one. It's just not summer. I don't know. To me, they probably should just put them in like swimsuits or something like that, but it is what it is. I get it. Oh, wait, we already did the recos there. Obviously, we've got super recos, but if I have to, I still have time for stuff like that. Let me go run in here. Ooh, I got some strengthenings I can do that are half cost. How much time do I have for the... Should be the full month again. Yeah, 26 days. Okay, so we still got plenty of time on that. I'll save that for when I'm like not on stream and show off instead the boring ass ember farming. What was I doing? I was doing a Tez clear of this. Do you have a better clear for this? Oh, whoops, that's caster. No, there we go. I don't have either of the quick AoE assassins. I mean, I guess I could use Kichi. I'm glad for these pure prisms. Oh yeah, it's going to be amazing for new players, right? Like pure prisms are always really solid for them, and I want everyone to understand. Usually, when I'm talking on these subjects, I'm talking from the perspective of a veteran. Please understand, if you're a newer player, you are not at my status, nor should you try to compare yourself to me. You have a lot of stuff still to do in the game, and the biggest thing that I can say to people to help them understand is just remember that this game is a marathon. It is not a sprint. You are in it for the long haul. Take your time and enjoy it. That is the best advice I can give you. None of these are really ideal. Just throw cranking on her. La di da di da di da di da. There we go. I'll actually save some party cost here and throw in that. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. I'm probably not going to care. Let's see. I have all my Mystic codes done on JP, so we are looking at Bond and QP. Where's my Bond? There it is. Okay, so it's already in use. It's grayed out is why I wasn't seeing it. I think that's Bond and Master. I don't need Master either. It doesn't matter what I do. And then can I fit a proper 5-star on MASH? I cannot, so to the 4 stars. Boop. There we go. And instead, since I'm doing that one, can I fit somebody properly who's... I can't fit a 3-star, because 3-star is 7. So who's a 4-star me want to... or 2-star that me want to bond? Why not? Get in there. Swoop. There we go. Hello, Type. How's it going? I can attest to it being a marathon after I saved a year for Castoria. Oh, yeah. So waiting on the next evocation with Kichi and Eris so they can have coins. I'm going to laugh when it's not Kichi and Eris. Yeah, I definitely feel like that's going to be like what it actually is, though, right? Like, I think it's pretty obvious that they're dragging out things like the Evocation Festival. They don't want you to have everything. In the same way, it's like they didn't just like give you Ox Demon King right away when they started adding craft essences back to the shop. They knew what they were doing. They waited. Waited long enough for Alice to finally get the skill level she deserves. Yeah. I'll be curious. I may roll on Alice if she gets another banner on JP. I skipped her the first time around, and I think rightfully so. I was smart to do that, but we'll see. It may be to my benefit to pick her up at some point. LB6 and LB7 for Reco campaigns for the next 2 months. Yeah, I think you're gonna see they're doing basically road to end of ordeal call. And that's why, like, I saw people getting upset because like, why are we doing road to 7 again? And it's like, we're not. I think what we are actually doing is just like progressing through. They're just trying to find some filler content, but also stuff that, so everyone's going to look at it as filler, but what they're actually using these campaigns for is to incentivize you to catch up on story. So like, I think that's what you're going to see them do. It's why you're going to see them require, again, LB4, LB5 for upcoming events. You're going to start to see them just progressively upping the bar and forcing people to get the story done so that they can actually come and play with other players like that at the end game and not get spoiled and stuff like that. So similarly, like I said, I think they want people to experience the whatever they have planned for the end of ordeal call while it's live, and also to be ready to do whatever the next chapter is of the game. Swoop. They're also following the streaming guidelines, which is funny. Like I said, I don't even really care about the streaming guidelines. So far, all the people that I've seen that have gotten hit are basically people that are like using third-party apps and stuff like that. So I don't think it's a big deal. Like, at least not for someone like me. Maybe for other people, but for someone like me, I don't think I'm gonna get hit. I don't think someone like Trubs is gonna get hit. I don't think like we're really that exposed. And I think even though we are technically in violation of said guidelines, I believe that they don't have the actual manpower to enforce it across the board, and two, I believe they're going to try to target people that they believe to be problematic more than anything. They're just using it as a reason to go after those people. Is that it coincides with it? Yeah. And that's the thing, is I think they're just going to sit there and they're going to slowly like up that bar. They're going to make it so it's like, okay, eventually you can just stream everything, but not for a while. The reason they only got to enforce it on one guy is because so many people are mass reporting the individual. As like I said, I don't know the entire story for that. Keep telling there's so many people that are so damn pissed about it. Yeah, like I said, I can understand, at least as a content creator, it's an upsetting subject, right? Like, nobody ever wants their game to come out and say you can't stream. The thing that I'm going to point out is, welcome to how the game has been for quite literally like all of time at this point. Like, we have straight up never been allowed to stream this game. Now we're being told we're allowed to stream it up to a point. So the big thing I'm going to say is, prior to that point, you can be assured that you will have no issue. After whatever point they like, whatever line they draw in the sand, yeah, there's certainly the possibility that you could have issues, right? Zort, thank you for the 41. Hope you're doing good. The only reason it seems they got hit, because the guts that got hit got mass reported. Essentially, the JP guys want English streamers to not spoil shit, pretty much. Yeah, look, I'm gonna say this. Good. I agree. I agree. If it's the Japanese that are mass reporting them, go for it. Right? Like, because again, do I cover it? Yeah, but I skip the story and I don't talk about the story with you guys. That's probably why someone like me doesn't get reported. So, like I said, if you started to use third-party apps and stuff like that, and you're just, literally putting recordings out there, I think the availability of the spoilers is largely what the issue is there. The fact that it is so easy for, your rank and file people to have access to those spoilers and to then take it and microphone it to other people is a problem, right? I think with the language barrier there is certainly something that is in the way of you being able to immediately run off and tell other people about it. Obviously, people that can speak Japanese can do that. There's nothing stopping them. However, usually the people that are going to go to the effort to read it in Japanese are not going to turn around and spoil someone else. Why? Because they understand that there is a language barrier there. And they're going to take that a little bit more seriously. Versus people that are just using some translation app, people that are basically having easy access to it, there's no reason that they don't. They had easy access to it. Why shouldn't they just go and tell everybody else about it? Here's the thing, and I've pointed this out before, right? Because spoiler posts on Twitter get a whole crap ton of likes and retweets. And they shouldn't, but they do. Here's the thing. Why do people read those posts? Because they don't know. But that's kind of a catch-22. If you don't know because you couldn't read, and you're reading that person's spoiler post, you're now spoiled. And the weird part about that is, clearly they know that they are peddling spoilers at that point. Clearly they know they're doing something wrong. And they're still doing it anyways. Why? Because it gets them likes, it gets them retweets. All hail the algorithm. And that's kind of the issue, right? It's like I said, you just have kind of bad actors at that point. People that they know that's what the algorithm likes, and so they just keep doing it regardless of how it impacts everybody else around them. I'm perfectly okay with people reading JP content, even if they're not Japanese. I'm perfectly okay with them discussing it. The problem that I have is that people discuss it out in the open, and not only that, they try to shove it in everybody else's face. So they're basically saying, haha, I got to read this and I didn't get spoiled, but I'm going to spoil you. And I have a problem with that. I don't think it should be that way. I think it's a bad thing. You also don't release videos that feature final boss fight of OC3 with thumbnail and stuff out there. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my issue. I'd actually say if your title is Final Boss Fight of OC3, that's an okay title. So the problem would then exist in the thumbnail, right? Because instead, it'll be I am Yamato Takeru, and I am the final boss of OC3 or something. And Yamato's not, right? But if your video title is Yamato Takeru boss fight and big spoiler thumbnail, yeah, you're doing everything wrong at that point. At least if you're trying to obfuscate who the person that you're fighting is, you're doing an okay job. How do I know? I've done the same thing. I've literally posted some of my Saberface only fights for recently released content, and I found clever ways to rephrase the title of the content so that it wasn't spoilery. I think it's a good idea, right? Seems JP players are fine with it. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's perfectly okay. I'm dead serious. I think that's perfectly okay. It's it's not that people are making content from current JP content that's the issue. It's that people are not giving a fuck about the rest of the fans, and they're ruining the community in the process. Because they're going to get theirs. They want their gains, and they don't care about anyone else. It's not making content, it's being an asshole. That's really where the issue lies. right? And I think that's a perfectly reasonable expectation. Should you be allowed to make content? Yes. And like I said, chat, I have made content and I have not gotten hit. And I can only assume it's because I am relatively spoiler free. Yeah, you get to see the fights when you watch me, but you don't get anything else. Nor can you read it because I don't use a translation app. So like I said, I think that's the ultimate takeaway. I hate to say it, but I am going to say it. I do believe the translation app is the root of a lot of these evils. And I believe that if the developers actually cracked down on it, the game would be better for it. I know people that use it and read JP don't want to hear that. I don't care. I'm going to say at that point, whether ill-intentioned or not, you are technically part of the problem. Like, I'm not going to get upset at you for using it, but I am going to say that over-reliance on it is the issue. And if we didn't have that app, like we didn't originally back in the day, you would also be in the same situation. So I don't think it's that crazy to point that out. I've seen some spoilers of these Lost Belts back in the day, but they were wrong. So then I went through them yeah, I have had like people try to spoil me and actually just be wrong about it. And the same deal, like I've seen people like say crap that they've read from the translation app and it was just incorrect. Just add a clause to allow to disallow blatant title thumbnail spoilers. Yeah, I think that'd be good. Like, I think the devs could be better, but I also think that like the devs in that regard are assuming that you're going to be good, right? Like basically they don't need to say that for the JP community. JP is fine. The Japanese speaking Japanese community is good about spoilers. The English speaking Japanese community is the problem. and yeah, so like I'm gonna say it's one of those deals where it's like maybe the developers don't quite get that, and that's why the community themselves is taking it upon themselves to do that. And like I said, I think it's good. I think it's actually good for the game. I know the NA community goes into an uproar, but that's... Look, chat, NA community going to be in an uproar, right? Like, we often fly off the handle about things that don't actually matter. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Me, myself, right? Like, I went on a nice little diatribe there about, like, whether or not the developers are being stupid giving us the pure prism refreshes, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, I can disagree with the dev choice and still respect the devs. I can understand that it is their decision, and the issue that I have with it is that I'm forward thinking and worried of the impact that will have, right? That does not mean that I think that the game's going to like crash and burn and die because of it. I'm not that doomer, right? Like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, this is the end. Like, and that's kind of how you saw a lot of people acting with that announcement. People just immediately jump to a conclusion and assume the worst. Whereas like me, veteran guy that's been streaming this for years, I looked at that and I was like, okay. It just didn't bother me in the slightest. Because I've seen it before. I've seen numerous crackdowns that the devs have done, and I've seen numerous announcements that they've made over stuff like this. I just know that they don't really have the actual manpower to really enforce it. Chat, they don't have the manpower to like actually develop the game as much as they want to. What makes you think they're going to invest significant time on something like that? You heard Albert say on the anniversary stream, no spoilers. Yeah, I chuckled because I knew that the source of the biggest spoilers was going to be Albert, so that also made me laugh. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to aspire to be spoiler free, right? Obviously, you're never going to be completely spoiler free, but I think it's a good idea to at least aspire to be. I think that's smart. In community is always on an upper, it feels like. Case in point, 30 million here even. Yeah. So, and there's a reason why. The NA community is full of, how do I put this, like pseudo content creators? Because like, I'm gonna be honest with you, you're a content creator if you are on Twitch. You're a content creator if you're making videos on YouTube. You are not a content creator if you are on Twitter. I'm sorry, it's the truth of the matter. If you're developing unique posts like hey, I'm making my own memes, hey, I am like actually going out and like dissecting and analyzing or making a video to post to Twitter, yeah, you're a pseudo content creator at that point. But I'm going to say a lot of the Twitter community has a tendency to get very, very like bent out of shape about things. Why? There's this concept that is probably not that foreign to you guys that I'm going to mention, and the second I mention it, you're going to immediately know what I'm talking about. Engagement farming. What's better for engagement farming? Khadroth over here posting analysis of the new unit that everybody can read. Or somebody else over here calling the new unit hot trash. Which one is going to get more interaction? You know the answer, chat. You don't want it to be the answer, but you know the answer. And that is why the NA community is always in an outroar. It's because it's engagement farming better if you're in an outroar. And this is why, look, at the end of the day, I'm not like other content creators. I don't engagement farm you guys. I don't want to. I like basically, I don't know. I don't see the reason to like go out and like, even though I'm perfectly okay with an idea, suddenly make a huge stink about it. And how do you know this is the case? Well, for instance, chat, I have gotten in arguments with people on Twitter where they said some outlandish statement. I went into their tweet, corrected them, said they were completely wrong, and here is why. What was their counter? Their counter was, oh yeah, you're right. It's totally okay. And then in the next subtweet down, they're arguing with the next person. It's because it's not about being right or wrong. It's just about generating engagement. They know what they've said is wrong. They're doing it on purpose. It's the same thing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. There's some posts on Twitter where they'll be like somebody will be like going through the story and they'll be like, wait, this is a thing? If you ever see a post like that, that's engagement farming. Why? Because they just read it themselves. Of course it's a thing. They know it's a thing. Why did they take it to Twitter? They're baiting you to respond to that. That's all it is. Like, it's the more you look at it from a content creator's perspective, the more you realize how stupid it is. And it's like you're sitting there and you're just like, I can't believe this freaking works. And like part of me is like, maybe I should do it too. But then the other part of me is like, no, I don't want to be that way. I just don't want to be that type of person. But that's also why I will probably never be the biggest and best content creator. I don't exploit people like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk about particular content creators, Char. But yeah, I don't know, right? I think that's just always been the case. It's one of those deals where basically the English speaking community is much more aware and beholden to the algorithm and are attempting to farm it. And so they're just naturally going to fly off the handle at stuff. They're going to make mountains out of molehills because it's better to do so. It's better. Either you are heaping praise upon the game or you are burning it down in those people's eyes. There is no in between because that's just how they roll. I personally can't stand content creators that are super negative about everything. Yeah, and like I said, I feel bad about like some of the times that I criticize the game because, look, chat, this is a year 9 game. We don't get a lot of wins anymore. A lot of stuff like is frustrating for us. So it's that much more important to heap praise when the game's actually good. Like, again, this $30 million downloads campaign's actually good. It's good. Give them credit. Laud them. Give them praise. They deserve it. They did a good thing here. And I'm dead serious on this. I can nitpick certain things. I can say, I wish they had done this or that. I'm surprised they did this. I'm surprised they didn't do that. But at the end of the day, this is a good thing. And you should be celebrating it. Because if you don't celebrate the wins, when are you going to celebrate? I remember then in the time of LB6, a lot of people were farming Babon Simps. I don't know what that is. Rage bait gets clicks and views, sadly. Yep. Well, that's what I'm going to say. At the end of the day, like, what are the best things you can do for a content creator that you like, right? Like, so for instance, I'm not going to rage bait. So therefore, I'm not going to get nearly the amount of clicks as somebody that does. So if you want to help me out, chat, word of mouth. That's literally one of the best things you guys can do for me. Be like, hey, you should go watch Cad's video on this. You should go see if Cad has a video on that. You should literally, like, go watch Cad's analysis of this. Like, that's one of the best things you can do for me is actually put my name out there for me, because obviously I'm still doing my own stuff to try and put my name out there. But yeah, I'm not going to get the engagement farm that everybody else is, because I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to try to. I like you enough to stay subbed. This is really interesting because on one of my screens it shows you with the sub, and on the one that I looked to at first, you don't have it. And I was about to be like, "That's interesting. You're not subbed up." It's just a Twitch issue. So I was chuckling to myself as I noticed it. Balmon Sith. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember because there was definitely a translation issue for I think it was LB6. Like something in LB6 was translated completely wrong. And I remembered talking with Trubs about that and us like conferring over it and like looking at the actual lines and then being like, no, they're just idiots. Like, and I don't remember exactly what it was though. I'd have to think back. But yeah, that's why I always tell you guys, like, just be careful with translations. And always, I think the important thing is to be a skeptic and to have an open mind. Just like kind of assume that there can be issues with the translation. Don't assume that it's verbatim, that it's law, and you'll be fine. I mean, crap, chat, even with the English translation for the official version, we have some issues, right? So like, obviously, if the English official version has some issues, naturally the JP version is going to have some too. Kimba, thank you for the gift. I mean, subbed on YouTube. I mean, I got you. I gotta give some thanks. That's all good. I wasn't gonna bait you. I was just gonna I was just gonna try to witty comeback you, and then I realized I was like, I probably shouldn't. But thank you, Kimba. You didn't have to do that. I think there was a line that was different for an Artoria flashback scene. I believe it was something like that, yeah. And I was just like, no, that's just completely raw. But I don't know, right? Like, it just is what it is. I think more than anything, I love this game. I am worried about the developers. I don't hate them. I'm worried about them. If I hate anybody, it's probably Aniplex and Sony that I hate. The overlords, right? But I kind of hate the FGO community, especially at this point. I don't hate you guys. I don't hate individuals, really. But I certainly don't like the way the FGO community conducts itself. I don't think that it's good. I think that basically everybody gaslights each other as well, and that's kind of a problem. So, like, when there is an actual issue, when something goes wrong, you have a shit ton of people telling you that that's not the case, that the game is perfectly fine, and that there is nothing wrong. Simultaneously, if you're sitting there and you're going, oh, hey, like, why is everyone making a big deal out of this? You get shouted down. you get told you're incorrect and that, like, you know, oh, you're just wrong. So, like, it's really weird. The community simultaneously will gaslight anyone that is contrary to their opinion, and simultaneously will sit there and shit on the game, but also declare the game to be the best thing ever, right? Like, so I don't get it. It's just like, it's obviously kind of what happens when you have so many different people involved, but it is like really weird to me in that regard. Certain types of people in the FGO community, yeah, and like the rage is almost predictable at certain points. Like, I'll never forget, what was it? What were we talking about? I think it was basically, it had to do with the whole EMEA skin color thing, and people were deeply upset about it. And then I remember, like, no, I don't think it was the EMEA skin color thing. I think it was something else. I think it was like right after that. But basically there was an issue and the developers fixed the issue and the community outrage subsided. And I will never forget being in a thread discussing it and then seeing someone go, okay, now they fixed this. Now let's all get angry about this next thing. And the next thing was the actual NA translation of Hokusai's voice lines. Hokusai wasn't even released at that point. And they were like, okay, now the developers have fixed this issue. Now let's all get angry about the translation of Hokusai's voice lines when she gets released. And I was like, I literally went off on the person. I was like, dude, you're going to get angry about something that hasn't even happened yet. Well, yeah, but I know they're going to screw it up. Fuck you. Right? Like, that's what I don't like. I don't like people trying to whip people into a frenzy over this stuff. That's why you often see me trying to, like, sanity check you guys. It's why when you guys sit here and you're like, wait, this is really shit. I can't believe the devs did this. Why didn't they do more? I'm sitting there talking to you about why your expectations are unreasonable. It's why I'm going to try to calm you guys down. Because everybody else out there is usually trying to whip you up. Usually trying to piss you off. Usually trying to get you in a frenzy over some perceived slight. Why? Engagement farm. That's all it is. That's all it is, chat. How people were mad at Oki's via voice lines? Yeah. I mean, I have particular things that upset me, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm pretty transparent about the fact that it's a me issue and not like this is an issue overall with the game. For instance, I do not like the characterization of Oki-tan of late. I liked her characterization when she first came into the game in Gouda 3. That was great. I really like her character. What I don't like is how Rengoku is taking over the character. I think that's stupid. I think that shouldn't be the case. While Rengoku can be there and get some plot development, Oki-tan is 90% Rengoku at this point. She barely gets any actual like development of her own story, and it's all just Rengoku. I have issue with that as somebody that likes Oki-tan. And it, to me, feels like the devs are practically replacing her with Rengoku. I think that's stupid. Now, you'll notice me saying I take issue with that. I think. These are indicators of me saying this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. And honestly, to some degree, I always welcome spirited debate, as long as you guys are respectful with it, right? But yeah, I'm never trying to tell you guys that like, oh, hey, you know, matter of fact, this is bad, and if you like it, you should feel bad. No, I'm just saying this is how I feel. So it's like, I think it's important always to like try to clarify that sort of stuff so that it's just better for all around for like not pissing people off. Like, you're letting people know it's just your take on the issue. It may be a hot take, but it's your take on the issue. I don't like how they transformed Osaka Hime for an A, but I accepted her being as she is there now. Feeling mad about it is just wasted effort for me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm okay with Osaka Hime in that regard. And I can understand why some people would be a little bit more upset, right? But I don't find issue with it. But I think it's okay if you do, right? It's something... I think this is kind of gone in society nowadays, just that level of like tolerance for your fellow man. You can respectfully disagree on things. Like, I don't agree with what Avalon's saying there, but I also don't hate Avalon for having that thought process. Whereas like nowadays, it's like, you disagree with me, I hate you. You're like, you're full blown Anakin Skywalker rolling around in the sand screaming, I hate you. So like it just is what it is. You hate Avalon because you disagree with him. Exactly, yeah. Well, I hate you because you're smelly. Okay. Fair. I do in fact smell. Nice to know that Bob hates me. Unfortunate state of the internet in 2024. I don't even think it's the state of the internet. I think it's just the unfortunate state of humanity in current year. You can attempt to make peace with others, but at some point conflicts happen. Yeah, conflicts are always going to happen. And that's why I say, like, it's important to always be respectful to people. If you just let them know that you disagree with them, but you don't hate them. Like, chat, there are many times that some of you guys say some stupid ass shit in here. I disagree with you. I will say that I disagree with you. I don't hate you. Like, it is what it is. You're welcome to your opinions. I may think they're shit, but you're welcome to them. In the same way that you may think my opinions are shit. I think that is the essence of having a dialogue and a discussion, right? You can't really have the discussion unless there is some level of disagreement. But I think at the end of the day, it's still okay. It's okay to disagree. It's not the end of the world. I don't have the energy to invest into hating someone. I wish I didn't. Nah, that's the truth of the matter is I'm kind of pretty much in the same boat. I don't really have the time is my issue. It's like I may see people do and say stupid shit, but I look at that and I go like, what would it take for me to change their mind? And I just go, it's not worth it. And like that also comes from experience from having debated many people over the course of my life. There's some people I if I argue with you, it's because I care. If I don't argue with you, it's because I don't fucking care anymore. And that may be for good or for worse, right? The internet has made people be uncomfortable or be comfortable with being a-holes without consequences. Yeah. What was it? I heard the term and I think it was a Thomas Jefferson quote, but I don't remember. But it's something to the effect of like civilized man was much more was it like much more polite because ancient man was much more civilized and polite because he realized that he could have his head cut off at any second. It was something to that effect. And it's like, it's true. When every guy near you may just have a sword that they can draw on you and decapitate you because you talk shit about their wife or their mother or whatever, right? Like, you're not going to say those things. You're not going to do those things. There's a reason I get so many Avengers CAD. Can you guess the reason? You won't like my reasoning. It's not going to be good reasoning. Heard it as well. We should go back to dueling. I mean, I don't know about dueling, right? Because dueling was one of those things where, like, God, there was so much crap that could go wrong and so much crap that, like, could be rigged. So it was one of those deals where it's like, yeah, I'm glad they did away with something archaic like dueling. But yeah, I hate to say it, like, at the end of the day, it's one of those. Look, the best way to say it in modern lingo is fuck around and find out. This is what happens to people. They go out in the real world, they say some shit that they would never freaking say if they were of sound mind, and they end up getting hit in the face. And then they're like, why? That's why. You were a rude motherfucker. Like, and it just is what it is. What is it, Smile? Oh, you're just, well, see, you sharpened your axe, so you're just an edgy boy. That's the whole reason you get so many Avengers. You're just an edgelord. Firm believer of fuck around and find out. Yeah, put another way, it's also called Darwinism, right? Survival of the fittest, aka the stupidest are going to weed themselves out at points. And chat, there's different levels of intelligence. There's, you know, like book smarts, there's street smarts, there's emotional intelligence, there's situational and like room reading intelligence. And I think usually the latter is the one where it's like, damn, you were really not paying attention there. You were not realizing. And I look, you know, over the years we've had numerous fights in like VIP amongst members, myself included, right? And I always tell people there is a clear point where these fights always happen. It's where somebody is getting upset and you continue to push their buttons. If you do that, you're going to reap the whirlwind. That's all I can say. It always happens. Every freaking time. When you push someone further than they are willing to take, all of a sudden they get deeply upset. And then somebody goes, why? You shouldn't be this angry. Yeah, well, I am. Yeah, well, we are. Yeah, well, they are. And then, oh, look. There come those consequences you weren't anticipating. Probably also uses Microsoft Edge. Yeah. At my age, disagree. It's all good, but I am solid in what I believe, and you can talk and show me where I am wrong. Yeah, it's really funny too, because I think you get some people that they'll try to like they'll continue to keep arguing with you no matter your adamant stance that's like, this is where I stand on this. I am not changing my mind. Like, I think as adults, people are way more entrenched about their beliefs. And that's okay. What's dumb is when people encounter that entrenchment and they go grab a shovel. And I'm like, good luck. You ain't getting it out of there. Like, it's not a thing. Like, when you're sitting there and you're still trying to change somebody that is that old's mind, you can, but it's kind of the you can't teach an old dog new tricks thing, where it's like, good luck, you can try, but it's not going to go anywhere. So it's like, to me, go ahead, try that one time to change their mind. That's fine. Nobody's really going to get upset at you for trying once. Trying twice? Trying 3 times? Like, at some point, they're going to tell you to stop. And when you keep pressing, it's the same deal. It's like you're reaping what you sow at that point. Actions have consequences, exactly. The winner is clearly the people not joining the argument. Yeah. It's like it's better to just stay out and you know, let things run their course to a degree. Fake edge. It's the meme. I'm a genius. Oh no. Yeah, quite literally. When entrenchment becomes entrenchment with rifle but real. People have gotten too comfortable to not get punched in the face. Yeah. What was that? I heard another quote by Mike Tyson the other day, and it's it was something to the effect of like, everybody has a plan for a hike. Nobody has a plan for when they hit the mountain. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh shit, what is this? What do I do now? With the horde of pure prisms and 13 AP doors, I'm back to having all my golds 999 or higher on JP easy. Yeah, go for it. Now get all your 3 stars and lower done. But yeah, I think it is what it is, right? I do listen. It never hurts to listen. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think something that you probably learn as you guys get older is you should listen more and talk less. That's usually a better thing. And this is part of one of the reasons why I'm so quick to be able to like pick up and analyze a situation. I listen to how people are acting and saying things. I know what they're going to do as a result. Like, the more you pay attention, the more likely you are to be better off for having paid attention. Usually when you're oblivious that you get in trouble. Hit the mountain harder and break it? Yeah, good luck with that. Just got here. What did I miss? We went over the entirety of the 30 million downloads campaign. It took us like 2 hours. Cad the Analyzer. I'm really good at analyzing things. I think it just runs in my family. And it certainly doesn't help some of my interactions that I've had in the past. The mountain break it. If you do that, you may be Saitama. Yeah. Have you done your 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 10-kilometer run yet today? You are? You've seen the videos? I know. What you guys see, though, is me analyzing something where we pretty much already know the constraints and the details. But I'll give you guys an example of this. So you can ask, like, Avalon. You can ask Bob. You can ask Torak. You can ask Leah. You can ask any one of the people that I, like, talk to when a new servant comes out that has a new ability that we don't know how it works. And I pick that shit apart with a fine-tooth comb. And I sit there and I go, all right, but what if this? What if that? How does this work? How does that work? And I do this over and over and over again until we know everything we need to know within reason. You guys don't ever see that. That all happens behind the scenes. And I don't go look at other people's content normally. I don't sit there and like go, oh, this is what so-and-so said. I'm just going to say the same thing. None of that happens. This is all analysis that we do independently on our own. And in some cases, we literally like get someone with the unit to go run into the node and try it. Fearless, thank you for the 7. Hope you're doing good. CAD researching so we don't have to. Exactly. And I think like it's equal parts because I want to inform you guys and equal parts because I also want to know. I want to know what the constraints are. I want to know where the limitations are. How many people did we have looking at Aoko when we were figuring out that magic bullet? Yep. And so this is great. Well, let's use Aoko as an example, chat. So magic bullet was a thing and we were looking at it and a scholar and gentleman looked at that skill and said she can naturally exceed the actual cap for a buff type. No other unit in the game can do that. I smell a rat. I bet she has an extension to her cap. Sure enough, we looked into it. She did in fact have an extension. That is case in point. And that's something that you only get with veterans, C2 chat. Like, because your average person, even if you're someone as analytical as me, you're not going to know to look for that. You're not going to sit there and go, wait a minute. I smell something off here. Something is not how it normally is. Because the only way you're going to know how it normally is if you've been playing long enough to know what normal is. We had like 5 people in VIP breaking it down. Yeah, it's great. And there's always debates too, because like we have people sitting there going like, wait, is it this? Is it this? I think it's this. Well, I think it's that. It's kind of funny to see. But it's fun. It's great. And I love doing it. So VIP dance party. Yo, yeah. But no, I think that's actually like one of the fun parts about FGO. FGO is at its funnest, at least for people like me, when there is new stuff rolling into the game, when there is new content and new features and new mechanics, and we don't know how it works exactly. Within reason, there is a limitation to that, and I'll give you guys an example of where a limitation was exceeded. When a pin skills came into the game. When class score came into the game. Like, when they have a huge game-wide, like, mechanical change, that terrifies me. I almost go into, like, panic attack mode, because I sit there and I'm like, how the fuck am I going to break all this down? How the fuck am I going to analyze this? Another example of that, Kuro. Summer Kuro coming into the game was rough. Because everybody wanted to know how Summer Kuro worked, and I'm sitting here like trying to think about it and trying to come up with a set of rules. Most recently, this happened with the 5th Append. Chat, I sat there for 2 hours and went through every single unit in the game and came up with a set of rules for recording that 5th Append video. And that set of rules still largely holds true. Very few exceptions to it. We all forgot about her. Well, so the biggest issue with Kuro was basically it was the Qin Gong test. And to clarify what I mean by that. So, chat, have you ever used Qin Gong? Have you ever used him for more than just sacrificing a unit? Have you ever actually used Qin Gong as the engine of a comp, where he is the center focal point? Qin Gong comps are actually really effective. Qin Gong comps are extremely time wasty, and Qin Gong comps are like just bloated as fuck because of it. Nobody really wants to use Qin Gong. So it's the Qin Gong test. Basically, you use Qin Gong if you don't have a better alternative. And he's just the only solution to like trying to 3-turn something. He's still a fun unit to use, don't get me wrong. But all things considered even, if you have a choice between a conventional double support setup 3-turn and Qin Gong rotating the entire party, where your setup extremely matters, your party order extremely matters, and your order of operations extremely matters, and it's going to take you a long time to do the node, you are 99% of the time, and that's being generous, going to choose not Qin Gong. You're going to choose the other option because the other option is just easier. It's faster. It's simpler. The Qin Gong test, right? So obviously, content creators are an exception to that rule. But the point that I'm trying to make there is Kuro failed the Qin Gong test. That is to say, she's the exact same as Qin Gong. You can use her. The problem is party cost. The problem is order of operations. The problem is party order. She is going to make your run take exorbitantly longer. Do you gain benefit? Yes. Yes, you'll deal more damage. You'll be able to leverage more supports. Most people won't care and won't do it most of the time. That's the Qin Gong test. So she fails that. She basically, as good as her system can be, her system is largely unnecessary for the vast majority of content. Therefore, most people don't use her. And That's why. And I think that's perfectly okay. So the more I looked into Kuro system, the more rules I came up with for operating the Kuro system, the more I realized nobody's really going to use this that much. It's extremely convoluted. And that's how we knew. So it's like, that actually helped. That actually, figuring out the rules of the Kuro system alleviated the stress in my mind, the panic of having to come up with it. Because once I figured it out, I realized this wasn't that big of a deal. And it's the same thing with, like, again, the fifth append. Oh, who's the fifth append good for? I don't know. Let me sit down. Let me go through every single unit in the freaking game and come up with the rules for where the fifth append is actually good. And oh, would you look at that? There's actually only a handful of units that it is good for. And there you go. That's how I knew. And so that's why, like, again, you guys can go back. You guys can watch the fifth append video. I talk all about it. And you guys can see my set of rules. And by the way, whenever I come up with these sets of rules, you can ask the VIP people again. I also run it by them. I double check my info. I send it to someone else and say, hey, am I insane? Can you think of anything else that defeats this rule set? We try to break them. Yep. I ask people in VIP to break my rules. And if they can break them, the rule needs revising. Or I just am acknowledging the fact that there is an exception to the rule. But it's good. It's fun. Your rules broke me. Yeah. Am I insane in how I'm viewing this? No, like, I basically sit there and I go like, okay, you know, like, can you think of something where this isn't the case? And if they can, I need to examine that exception. Why is it the exception? And is it truly an exception, or is this an unrealistic scenario? And I'm going to try to think of one right here, but like let's use fifth append, right? So for fifth append, chat, basically every unit that has a charge skill that is 6 turns with the fifth append can turn it into 5. This means that instead of using the skill on turns 1 and 3, they can use it on turns 1 and 2 or turns 2 and 3. Is there an exception to this? There might be. And realistically, does any of this matter? Being able to pop the charge skill on turns 1 and 3 is standard. This is okay. Being able to pop it on turns 1 and 2, this might actually cause a problem. Same thing with 2 and 3. This might actually fuck up the order of operations. And so there might not actually be value added there. There might not be a benefit to having that fifth append be used on that. So instead, what you're going to see is more, the fifth append is usually better for people that gain acceleration of their steroids, aka their offensive attacks, or sorry, their offensive buffs. So something like your arts up here is a arts steroid. I'm sorry, I just spelled that steroids. But like, yeah, usually having the fifth append for steroids is good, like almost bar none, especially if it's a multi-turn steroid, because that's just giving you more flexibility, more choice for how you use it. Charge skills, though, are extremely like blocked in. 7-turn charge. 7-turn charge is an interesting one because 7-turn charge is absolutely good. Why? Because having the fifth append turns it into 6, which now means it can be popped on turns 1 and 3. On 7 turns, it couldn't be. At least not without special circumstances. What were those special circumstances? What is the exception to that rule? Well, it's Atlas. Being able to use the Atlas Mystic Code would allow you extra access where you still could pop it on turns 1 and 3 as long as you had Atlas. But you don't want to use Atlas. So is it actually an exception to the rule? No, it's not. Because having that being able to lower it to 6 turns is objectively better. You're able to use a more offensive Mystic Code. Exactly. So you're able to use something like Plug, which lets you rotate the party, which lets you get another support in there. It also allows you more offensive firepower because you have a Mystic Code that has a attack up on it, for instance. So again, is that an exception? No, it actually isn't. That is actually a rule proven there rather than being an exception. Now, if you start talking generalistically, and this is really funny. Let me see if I can find it. Because I think I wrote this down at some point. Wait, did I put it in my actual Fifth Append video? It was fun. Wait, did I not get this in there? What did I do with it? What did I do with it? It was Google Docs instead of Sheets? No, it's not that. I don't know. I had an actual list where I went through every single unit and denoted their rule set for where the Fifth Append worked and didn't. Oh no, I know where it was. It was in our DMs Avalon. Yeah. Yeah. All right, hold on. So here you go, chat. This is what I used to record the Fifth Append video. Okay, so like I literally went down this and said, this is what the Fifth Append does for every single one of these units. For instance, Lalter can now use Koyanskaya double Oberon from a 60% starting point with mana loading. That's the change that the fifth append makes for her. She could already start from 60%. Well, actually, no. She had to start from 100%. Now she can start from 60% with double Oberon. She already had to use double Oberon anyways. This allows her to work from 60. So now she can technically use a better craft essence. So, like, I literally went through here, broke down exactly each and every one of their charge scenarios. This is what the change is and how it's made. This is how we can get the most out of them. Right? Like, that's the thing. I did this for everything, including, like, you guys can see, 3-star Romulus is in here. So, it's kind of nuts. And here are my rules. Anyone with a 7-turn charge can now work with double Koyan. Anyone with a 5-turn charge cooldown of 30% or more can work with a single Koyan Sky, which is not always better. 20%ers with a 5-turn cooldown can now start from 60%. Anyone with a cooldown reduction already in their kit can potentially use it. So, aka the fifth append. Anyone challenge-oriented can get back to their skills the first time faster. So it's potentially good for challenges, but it does mean that there is a sweet spot. That is, the fifth append loses technically some value if you have a fight that's going, like, say, longer than 20 turns. Because at that point, you are literally getting back to the skills multiple times. So getting back to it the first time 1 turn faster probably didn't make that much of a difference. It's minimalizing the actual effect of the fifth append the longer the fight goes on. Anyone with a 7-turn cooldown steroid can now double up their skill in a double Koyan comp. Anyone with a 6-turn cooldown steroid can now use their skill on turns 1 and 2 or turns 2 and 3 in a double Koyan comp. Anyone with a 5-turn steroid can now potentially double pop. Anyone with a 4-turn cooldown steroid can now use their skill on turns 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 in a single Koyan comp. Single Koyan, okay? Or doesn't need her at all in order to double up. Buster units that get charged per enemy hit do not seem to benefit in conventional farming without also adding Summer Kuro, aka Salter. And let me see if I can find the Salter analysis that I did. I literally sent it to Leah just to spook her. That's such a fucked up charge scenario. And that is that. Hold on, let me get you guys the actual breakdown for what that is. That is Salter, double Oberon, Koyanskaya of Light, mana loading, the fifth append, and Kuro. That is what it takes for Salter to be able to use the fifth append. And no one's gonna do it because it's such a clusterfuck. There's no reason to. So the fifth append actually doesn't benefit her charge scenario at all. Certainly it could benefit things like steroids, but yeah, like not actually the charge scenario. Look what they need to use a fraction of our power. So the issue with Salter and other units like her is that they are refund based per enemy hit, even though they're Buster. For instance, another unit like this is actually Kiyohime after her buff. And they both work in the same degree. Like the fifth append doesn't actually help. It just kind of like makes things more convoluted. You can use it to manipulate it for a little bit more damage, but it's not something that most people are going to care about. Because again, it's going to take a shit ton of like sitting here and actually like big brain mathing it in order to figure out how much you actually want. So. That's how you know you're a true Salterson? Oh, listen, chat. This is what I do for Saberface. You can ask Bob. You can ask Avalon. Like the second some new charging technology comes out, I immediately go to like Buntoria, Lartoria, Artoria, Salter, and like I'm sitting here trying to like work them into the new system. because they're my babies. So I'm gonna try to figure them out first. And usually they're how I establish a set of rules, anyways. But yeah, I sent that to Leah just to scare her. I remember the Lotto Guide spreadsheet where they complained that you made them do a Buntoria comp. Okay, so this is always a joke because basically they end up working out so many comps usually for that normally in the past what they would do is they would always make sure to work in a Buntoria comp. Because one, I would ask them even if they didn't, just for my own curiosity, and two, they a lot of the times felt the need to just throw one in just to be funny. So, which is also why you had things like the triple Arash comp in one of them. No way Cat asked that. Yeah, I don't ask Avalon to do it because he's a one-man show. I don't want to increase his strain. Triple Arash? Yeah, triple Arash. I'll let Bob explain that one if he's still lingering around. I believe the way it worked was the Lotto CE for that particular event, which I believe was Shisho Fest, had guts on it. Like the actual Lotto drop CE had guts on it. And while that was for most scenarios a bad thing, because you couldn't like Qingong and stuff like that, it was actually somewhat useful for like a unit like Arash that killed himself, because you could abuse it, and you could use it to get multiple MPs out of Arash. Yeah. So it's just like, it is what it is. But yeah, I think that was the one. I think it was Shisho Fest. All right, chat. I think we're going to call it here for tonight. We have covered a lot. We have talked a lot. I have ground a lot. Let me see who all's on. Well, I can give some love to. Let me pay it back to Mr. Fox. And again, chat, don't forget community night Sunday, Amogus. Come in, tell me how your ticket went, and like I said, we'll be pulling the ticket on Monday ourselves. In the meantime, if you guys want to play Among Us with us, we should have open lobby and stuff like that. I believe we will have one mod that people might need to install, but usually with stuff like this, it's really easy. So again, don't worry about it. But if you're interested in playing, just let us know. Go in like CAD chat, let me know, like RSVP for us. But again, hope to see you guys there for that. Should be a fun night. And I will send you guys on to Fox. Have a good one. And as always, may the courts be with you. And again, have a good weekend if I don't get to see you.